is, how do I call it? Aramco Sim Arena. Right next to me is a simulator racing gaming. I really want to try it, but I'm wearing a dress, but who cares anyway, right? So I'm gonna first try my... Alright, headphone please. Oh. Alright, gonna start my game now.
Hello Free Fire fam, I'm Carol Bombshell and I'm happy to be here in Saudi Arabia, Riyadh for Esports World Cup 2025 Free Fire tournament. And also I'm happy to be here with the core memory team. Welcome guys, it's so nice to have you here. So we're gonna play a little game. It's a fun game, it's not Free Fire, but it's all about Free Fire. So you guys have to guess which gun is only by the sound. Are you guys ready?
Okay.
The first sound please.
ได้ยินแต่มันคืออะไรวะมันคืออะไรอ่ะ
นี่เสียงปืนนั่นแหละ
เสียงปืนอะไรเสียงปืน
จะรู้ไหมล่ะ
แปลกๆวะ
ก็มันเปิดแค่เนี้ย AK เหรอวะไม่รู้วะ
หรือมันเป็นลูกซองยาวต่อไป AK
ใช่เหรอ AK อะ
มั่วขา98ขา98
Almost. Okay, I'm gonna give you one more shot.
ไม่รู้ว่ะขา98ไอ้ AWM
No. You guys said like the two snipers, which is good. It's kind of similar, but it's SVD.
SVD
อ๋อ SVD
อ๋อ
มันไม่ใช่ขนาดนี้หว่า
เสียงมันแบบวิเดียวอะ
AK8
Yes, that's correct. That was an easy one, right? Who said first?
ผม
Bomb. Good job. There we go.
เฮ้ยชื่อไม่ชื่ออะไรวะ
ปืนพกคู่อ่ะปืนพกคู่
เป็น197เหรอไม่ใช่ดิ
ไม่ปืนลูกโม่อะ
ก็นั่นแหละมันชื่ออะไรเนี่ยแบบพูดเป็นลูกโม่แล้วสิมันเป็นปืนลูกโม่อะ
A little bit confused.
ปืนโม่คู่อ่ะ
You cannot remember the name of it. Okay, just try. Say some names.
ก็นั่นแหละลูกโม่
อ๋อลูกโม่
ลูกโม่เล็กอ่ะมันเป็นพกอ่ะ
M179 มั้งมันเป็นปืนลูกโม่
Yes.
โอ้โห
No, I'm just kidding. It's a joke. No, you are almost there. It's another one. It's close to M79. M1917.
ถูกแล้วแต่จำชื่อไม่ได้ ไม่ค่อยได้เล่น
รู้แล้วว่ามันคืออะไรแต่ว่าไม่จำชื่อมันไม่ได้
Okay, now you guys remember. Okay, but it was a close one.
เฮ้ยโทก้อน
ไอ้นี่โทก้อน
That's correct. That was an easy one because you guys use this a lot, right?
ใช่
It's anyone's favorite gun.
นี่ปืนของคนนี้
แม่อันนั้นซีซั่นที่แล้วเปิดผมแล้วแพทก่อนเป็นแพทเก่า
Okay, since it used to be your favorite gun, I want to know which player from any region could you eliminate easy with this gun?
ยากเลยนี่ ยากเลย
Come on. You have a name.
คูก้าคูก้าตัวหน้าไงโดนยิงบ่อย
Cougar. Last year, he won AWC 2024. Okay. He's a tough player.
Thompson
Thompson. Yes, that was an
ไม่อ
easy
ยู่ใน
one.
ที่แล้ว
Easy.
easy
Okay, next and last one.
พันยาอันนี้ท่าพันยาเป็นพันยาเฉ
เป็นเสียง
ย
พันยาไม่ใช่แบบ
เสียงพันยา
ปืนอะ
Exactly, mad kid. Okay, that was an easy one. I think you guys have a good ear. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you enjoy your stay here in Riyadh, and I am excited to see you guys in action for Free Fire at the Esports World Cup 2025. And that's all. I see you.
Mi motivación es más que nada hacerlo por mí, porque yo sé cuántas horas le dedico al juego y cuántas veces he querido lograr una meta como clasificar a la final y estar dentro de los mejores del mundo. Esa es mi verdadera motivación.
Chicks, es el momento de reclamar en su debut, en tratar de llevarse el alma. ¡Vai, Nico! Por favor, viene Vision.
Mi estilo de juego lo tomaría como agresivo, más que nada porque me ha gustado siempre mantener la línea delantera y llamar a mi equipo para rushar a algún lugar del mapa. Claro, ahí sería la fortaleza del soporte, que es el que va a hacer el primer tiro, y ahí nosotros como yo primera línea tengo que seguir la orden de él y rushar.
De castigo, le vemos con la trojada. 2 contra 2. De nueva cuenta, Andrés lo mandan hacia el suelo, el crono que está activado. De nueva cuenta, la misma respuesta. Nazi compañía da.
Los equipos que siempre le he tenido en la mira y que son buenos jugadores son Bru y Fluxo. Nada, que se preparen, que vamos a ir con todo y daremos todos.
a fantastic day 2 here at Free Fire at EWC 2025. If you missed any of the matches, don't worry, I'm going to have you covered with a quick match recap. Starting off the day, we had a fantastically strong start by Buriram, who secured the first Booyah on Bermuda, followed by LOS securing Purgatory after a really close matchup with Fluxo. For match number 3, we had Vitality securing Kalahari in a surprising turn of events. For match number 4, Core Memory secured their first ever Core Memory here at EWC with their first ever Booyah on Alpine. Next up, we have R7 securing their Booyah on Nextera. And finally, to close out the day, we had LOS securing the second Booyah on Solara. Now, of course, that's not all here for Free Fire because we still have one final day here for knockout stage before we head on over to the point rush stage. Now, the most important thing here is it's Group A versus Group C. Teams from Group B will not be playing and will only be able to watch and pray that they have enough points to make it to the next stage of the tournament. Now, the most exciting match to keep an eye out for day number 3 is LOS versus Falcons because they are currently sitting at the top of the leaderboard and LOS are 4 points ahead of Falcons. So the question remains, will Falcons be able to take back the throne or will LOS continue to reign supreme? That's going to be it for the recap. We'll catch you with the next round of matches.
Level up your gaming experience with over 8 billion playlists, only on Spotify, the official audio streaming partner for the 2025 Esports World Cup.
day 2 and with the bomb and a lot of energy. And now we are going into the day 3 of the knockout stage. Let's freaking go!
Welcome back, survivors, to Free Fire at EWC 25. My name is Danielle. I'm going to be your host for today because we are reaching a brand new climax here at EWC because we are at the final stage of the knockout round here for Free Fire. Now, I have to welcome my panelists. We are all very excited for these games because we have teams from Group A and C ready to go. Teams from Group B, they've completed their matches. Welcome my panelists, Raja, Neptune and Gideon. Welcome to my panel. It's great to have you all here again. We've got some really great matches. We have a very tense moment for one grouping because they don't get to play anymore.
Well, I'm really happy to be here and I'm very excited to find out which it will be the 12 teams that will, pass through our knockout stage directly to our point rush. So I'm pretty excited to it, and I want to know if Los will do the same strategy that they did in the last match, like yesterday.
Yeah, I'm really excited as well, and also happy because by this time we have those numbers already. We have the data from all the teams, and I'm looking forward to them really showing up right now to complete the mix.
I think personally for me, at least for Group A, expectations have been set. They played on day number 1. They got a couple of points. Sure, that's great. But here in day number 3, this is their final round of play. They must have done their homework because Group C came out swinging in day 2, knocking a majority of the Group Bs down when technically they were looking for even more points.
Well, I know the teams, they're rearing to go because they are making their way to the venue right now. We're going to have a quick look at our Jamal Motorsports player arrival cam. Teams are leaving the hotel, they're boarding their shuttles, and basically this is their last moment to themselves to have their group discussions, to discuss any final strategies before they make it to the main venue at the Boulevard. And of course, we do have a number of favorites coming into their vehicles. Okay, panelists. We have a couple teams that we're looking at here, right? It's Group A versus C. I'm going to start with Gideon. One top dog.
One top dog. I'm looking at Falcons once again. I'm sure they've done their homework. They've got a lot of points, and I think they want to kind of maintain that top position. Let everybody know that this is the benchmark. They are the landmark here at EWC.
For me, it's going to be LOS. They really showed up, and I don't think they're going to slow down. They don't have that curse that we usually talk about when it comes to the knockout stage, and they need that aggression as well to undermine the mindset of the opposing teams.
Well, I agree with you, and I have high expectations in R7-2, R7, Los, and I think Falcons, they are kind of, they are still chasing, they want to keep the trophy in their shelf, so they will show a great show, they will show a great play for us today. I hope so.
Well, let's see if they can keep that trophy because I know everyone else wants it. Now we do have our Kidia top plays ready to go, so let's have a look and see what were our best plays on our day 2 matches. And gentlemen, ladies, we did have some really exciting matches yesterday because, of course, Group B, again, we keep saying it, they had to basically play their absolute best yesterday because it was their last chance to grab those points. points.
Absolutely. I think, big standouts in terms of some of these plays. You might notice that Loss is going to be part of a majority of them. However, I did notice, between me and Raja in the back, we saw talking about like, yes, LOS is getting a lot of points. Why are they taking out other Latam teams? What's going on?
Yeah, I guess it's because you did mention there, Raja, that, and even in the video coming from both teams, it is a rivalry between them. And I don't think it would stop because they're just in EWC and introduced with other regions. I think they want to deal with that here and then the rest of the teams as well.
Well, I think Fluxo, it's kind of rival of Los, and I think they need to like pray to the bottom teams do not make so much points to like put them out of the top 12, so they need to pray a lot. I will pray for them, and we have like such a big crowd, and I think maybe this can work, but we need to see what the bottom teams will prepare for us today.
Well, I would love to see some surprises coming out from our bottom teams. We do have our Crunchyroll reactions ready to go as well. Let's see some of the emotion that is happening on the main stage. And obviously, we're going to be seeing a variety on the screen, right? We see despair, we see excitement, we see happiness, we see determination. If you're going to make it to that next stage, you can't really afford to let your emotions just run haywire, Neptune.
Yeah, definitely. That is one thing that pros really need to deal with. Emotion will be thrown out the window. Just focus on the strategy, focus and make sure that you are clear on your goal, clear on your communication. Because at some point when you put so much emotion in that, whether it's excitement or sadness, and it will throw off your game.
I think it all comes down to balance, right? You don't want to be too hyped, as you said, but you also don't want to be feeling negative throughout the games and matches, which I think, a really great example we saw up on the screen was Core Memory. You could see that Cougar, as much as you could see him wanting to go above and beyond, he's just trying to keep it chill. He took off the glasses. He's looking at his teammates, guiding them, even though he's already down.
Right, now we do have a standout player from yesterday's matches, and it was none other than Della. So I believe we're going to be getting a bit of a close look into Della before we jump into today's matches. He's got the key, he's going to be receiving it, and I think he's going to do the same thing that Rasia did yesterday, which was basically putting his key up on the stage.
Yeah, definitely. This is something momentous, being in there, being representing not only your team, but also your region, and just showing up that you're part of EWC 25.
Yeah, it must be a very tense moment, putting your key up, seeing Rasia's there as well, thinking, oh, can I outdo this man?
I think the best part of it all, oh, please, we need to see it. We need to see the hydraulic press come into play, because I think that's what all these players are looking for. They're just like, give us a chance, just one go.
I don't know if you want to look forward to it, because the question is your key going to survive or is yours going to be crushed, right? Because 6 keys are going to be crushed at the end of the day. So it's a really tense moment. You're kind of praying here that, your key stays intact. Sure, you won't get it back yet, but there's a good chance that you're going to be the winner. You keep your key and you take home 3 other keys. Okay, I have a very big question. Maybe the answer is very obvious, maybe it is not. If you were given the chance to take 3 keys from any teams and they were crushed, whose keys would you want?
Oh, that's a good one. I think, tell you what. We got to get the top teams here. I would say that I would take BRU, I would take Fluxo, and I think I would also take Hotshot Esports as well. Gotta get that representation. Gotta get a little bit of everybody. Diversity.
Yeah. If it's any team, regardless of what placement, what standing there are, Falcons, they were the champion. We have Fluxo, sorry, because there's also the global champs. And I would say Burim United, because they have been intimidating from the start.
I will keep your answer, but I will change Fluxo for... let me see.
LOS.
No, I'm not trying to create like a... Yeah, hotshot. Yeah. I don't want to improve the reviver. I don't want to improve it. I need to be neutral about it.
Got to make sure that the knockdowns stay down. No revives at this point.
I'm glad we have a balanced panel, right? We have peace and chaos at the opposite ends of the couch. Love you all all so much. It looks like we do have an STC Club Championship update, in case you guys did not catch this yesterday. Now, of course, we do have the match schedules for all of the games here at EWC as well. So if there are any game titles that you are keen to actually keep an eye out for, here's the completed schedule and what weeks they're going to be played on. So mark your calendars, pick out the dates, and pick out your favorite games and get ready to cheer for your favorite teams and your favorite players. Now, at the moment, we are currently on the week 2 schedule. So we have League of Legends, Free Fire, Dota 2, and Mobile Legends happening at the exact same time. So if you also watch these other games aside Free Fire, then definitely check out the streams for those corresponding matches and games as well. And now we do have the prizing for our club championships. If you don't know what this is, there is a separate event happening in EWC. Of course, your teams and players competing are going to be aiming for a prize pool, but we have the club championship where the clubs, the teams that own the players, are competing in a separate tournament where if you place high in multiple games and accrue enough points, you're going to be the club champion at EWC 25. So make sure you cheer for your teams as well as your favorite players, because there is so much on the line here at EWC 25.
There is, and I think that now that as the weeks are going to continue to go by, at least for some of these teams, now that we know the schedule, I think they're coming to their top 4s and top 2s already, which is why the points are continuously updating.
I mean, you have to keep it updated, and especially with the fact that there is a extra condition where you need to you have to have a top 8 placement in 2 game titles. So it can't just be you win one game, you win Free Fire, and then you can win the whole club championship. So there's a lot on the line here. We also have your honor on the line here, my panelists, because we have the Aramco Power Rankings ready to go. So let's see who you have chosen as our top dogs for today's matches. And we're seeing a lot of Buriram, I'm seeing a lot of loss, and we do have some variety. So starting with Raja, explain your picks to me today.
Well, I think Pain Gaming will probably be aggressive today, and they don't have they don't have landing spots, so they need to contest this from other teams. So probably they will be more aggressive, and they will do this type of play style today. So that's the reason why I put Pain Gaming. And Buriram, I think everyone knows why I put it here. And Los, because of the same thing as Pain Gaming. I think they will be aggressive, and they are so good, so it's impossible not put Los here.
I guess it is impossible not put Lost, because all of us put Lost in there. And, well, I guess there's a lot more that will be offered, not only by those on the power rankings.
I feel that as much as we all put very stable, why didn't anybody put Falcons? They came
That's
up.
what I was going to say. I was like, there's only one Falcon up there. What's going on?
I don't know what we're thinking of here.
I think I'm done about Falcons. I don't want to keep seeing the names and appear Falcons drop it like a player. I'm done about it. I want to see other teams.
Raja,
you know?
I have to say, when you leave the venue, be careful. You might get swooped. I'm just saying, you might get swooped by a couple of Falcons.
But I mean, they are top 1, right? So I think that's not a problem.
Are they going to stay at the top? That's what we want to know.
Exactly.
But I think they are safe.
Okay. Well, I mean, we've spoken quite a lot about Falcons, but it looks like we do have an extra segment for you guys. We're going to be taking a look at the character building of Lost. Let's check it out.
Então é nosso estilo mais sair para trocar tiro. Quem a gente vê, a gente vai matar na frente, porque a gente é muito confiante e sabe que vai ganhar. O rival vou colocar como o Fluxo, né? Que eles são os campeões mundiais atualmente.
It's only Brazil. It's gonna be Lost versus Fluxo. Se lança pro meio do Gal sem general acertando o primeiro.
Bom, a gente já ganhou de vocês esse ano e agora nós vamos para ganhar de novo aí. Toma cuidado.
Fluxo is taking out general.
Nosso campeonato regional lá no Brasil é muito complicado, são muitos times bons, tanto que cada ano acaba mudando os times que vão para o Mundial e tal, porque a região é muito forte, então é muito complicado jogar lá e jogar contra o Fluxo também, que é o melhor time do mundo atualmente. mas dessa vez a gente conseguiu sair campeão.
Ele vem, ó, pra cima, como tem que ser. A direção é uma só, vambora, Rigby. Já chamou na distância também. Los!
The Free Fire World Series Brasil Champs.
Minha maior motivação é saber que o título que me falta é o Mundial, sabe? Porque a gente já ganhou bastante, ganhou de tudo já. Campeonato Brasileiro, Continental, a única coisa que tá faltando mesmo é o Mundial. Então a gente vem bastante motivado para ganhar esse ano, se Deus quiser. Então para se provar, a gente tem que ser campeão aqui e vai ser dessa vez.
Oh, that's for
from this team. There's a reason why Loss is being highlighted, and it is because not only are they champions looking down upon their own region, but also potential champions here at EWC 25. And just seeing their first play day yesterday for day 2, they looked so good, so on point. The chemistry was there. And I think the question we now have is, are they really world champion material? I think they're really close. Raja, I'm pretty sure you're more familiar with Loss than the rest of us on the panel. What is it that Loss does that makes them such a high quality team?
Well, I saw an interview and I also wrote it down here. I will say like the general words. Well, he'd say that they are really confident with the players' individual skills because they already have like one of the top 3 rushes from Brazil. But when they need, they know how to play it safe. So I mean, they can adapt in every type of play style. So they can even beat Asian teams. And they are not even used to it because, well, they do not play that much against Asian teams, but they also can do it. So I think they are really capable of, getting the trophy.
Speaking of some of these teams now, I mean, if they're coming in looking confident, that's when I get worried. Adjustments are going to be made, but more importantly, being stubborn also has its perks, right? It means that other teams must adjust around you rather than, hey, we got to figure things out.
Yeah, back to Loss. I mean, from last year, 3 of the players are returnees in EWC. So I guess this is redemption for them. They were almost in there. They were almost in there. If it wasn't for Team Falcons, they could have grabbed that championship. So this is probably one reason why they studied Southeast Asian and the other teams as well, and they're doing so well.
Yeah. Now, hopefully, if we can, we would love to see the total rankings one more time before the match begins, because I think everyone wants to know, where is everyone currently standing on that leaderboard? Because Neptune, on the way to the venue, we had a really interesting discussion, right? The odds of teams making it to top 12. Now, run us through the numbers. Who do you think is most likely to make it through, and who may just make the cut?
Yeah, I mean, just running through basic calculations first, if we look at the teams from ANC, double their scores, and it's only Virtus Pro who might be able to go and take over against Alpha 34, who's currently the bottom of Group B. But there's still also some risk for Hotshots right now, because once I did some simulation, Hotshots was just ending in there on the top 12, and it's a potential that he can be thrown out. They can be thrown out of that top 12 spot. But for the rest of the teams, 3 simulations has been done. The result always the same unless they really pump it up for this day.
Yeah, so it seems very top heavy for teams in Group B. Well, we're going to have to see what happens there. But one thing we do know is that we have an interview lined up with Buriram. So let's see what Buriram have to say before they kick off their first match today.
Hi everyone, it's Kyungso and welcome to our interview with Buriram United Esports from Thailand. Hello everyone. So yesterday you guys already have for yourself a first booyah, but after that everything seems to be very slow down. It's feel like flick off. What happened?
ก็เมื่อวานนะครับเราได้บูย่าไปแล้ว1รอบแต่ว่าหลังจากนั้นเนี่ยรู้สึกว่าแบบทุกอย่างคือแบบดูช้าลงไปหมดเลยดูเหมือนเป็นขาลงหน่อยๆไม่ทราบว่าเกิดอะไรขึ้นบ้างครับ
ก็ ผิดพลาดตอนแบบว่า move นิดหน่อยครับผม move เข้าวงอย่างเงี้ยครับผิดพลาดกันเล็กๆน้อยๆก็ไปปรับปรุงก็แก้ไขมาครับวันนี้ก็ทำไม่ดีครับ
So I think it's about it's kind of like butterfly effect because after we got the first booyah, we have made such a small mistake over and over again. For example, like we are moving into the last circle like a bit too slow, so everything went down from that point.
All right, I understand. So yesterday it's just a little small mistake, but I think today Buriram will come back stronger. So what is your goals today and what are you expecting the most for today's match?
ก็วันนี้คิดว่าจะเป็นยังไงบ้างครับแล้วก็เราเตรียมพร้อมยังไงมาบ้างครับ
ก็สำหรับเตรียมพร้อมก็เราก็ได้เป็นการซ้อมข้อที่ผิดพลาดอย่างหนักครับแล้วก็วันนี้เราก็น่าจะทำเต็มที่น่าจะผลงานน่าจะออกมาดีครับ
So we will try our best on in today matches. So after yesterday match, we went back and like keep looking into one by one of our small mistakes that happened during the games, and hopefully we already fixed all of them. And let's see what's gonna happen in today's games.
I think today's Buriram is gonna be okay, like usual. They are the king of Booyah, so they're gonna make it into the quarter stage and of course the grand finals. All right. Okay, so how do we say fighting in Thai?
สู้ๆ
Okay ค่ะสู้ๆนะบุรีรัมย์
So to Buriram fans out there who might be a little concerned after their performance yesterday, they're not moved, they're not shaken, but they do understand what happened yesterday. So it was quite surprising. According to them, they made a couple of mistakes and that was really why they fell out of the grouping. I think originally we kind of thought it was just a grouping incompatibility. They just couldn't play their game.
I don't know about the mistakes, but it seems like they don't want to take the lead in the knockout stage. They don't want to show all their cards yet because they're preparing it for point rush as well as grand finals.
Yeah, and I think for the most part of it, even though it's small mistakes, it's only still a 60 amount of points is still pretty good. It still puts them in contention and definitely for a position for top 12.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge on these teams. It looks like we are basically ready to go here for match number 1 between groups A and C. Teams in Group B, they can only look on and watch and hope that they've earned enough in their previous matches. But I think we're ready to fly on over to the main stage. Survivors, let's head on over to game number 1.
And now the stage gets even bigger.
Gue cukup seneng banget ada di Arab sini karena ini impian gue sebelum-sebelumnya bareng tim gue juga. Season lalu kita cuma jadi penonton dan sekarang kita akhirnya bisa jadi pemain di sini.
รู้สึกดีครับตื่นเต้นก็เป็นความฝันด้วยที่มาแข่งรายการใหญ่ๆครับ
Tipo, nunca ter desistido, porque eu jogo faz muito tempo já. E ter continuado tentando, mesmo fracassando, seguindo em frente, com erga na cabeça, valeu a pena ter chegado aqui.
Latihan mungkin ya, latihannya lebih keras lah ditambah terus kayak saling percaya satu sama lain, saling nguatin lah satu sama lain. Yangมีครับยังไม่ได้ใช้แผนหมดครับ Tentang semua tim di sini ya pastinya jago-jago lah ya. Ibaratkan kayak ya ini udah masuk World Champion pasti semua di sini yang terbaik lah.
No Brasil já são times fortes lá, mas aqui é um nível completamente diferente. Cada erro, tipo, por mínimo que seja, custa muito caro aqui.
รู้สึกว่าปลดล็อกอะไรหลายๆอย่างครับปลดล็อกหลายอย่างเลยสไตล์การเล่นเราด้วยวิธีไฟท์ทีมใช่ครับ
A cada queda tentando jogar como se fosse a última e tentando o melhor resultado.
ที่เราได้บูย่ามาแล้วเจอกันต่อรอบชิงครับ
ก็ปล่อยผมเข้ารอบชิงครับเชื่อมั่นในตัวผมครับเดี๋ยวผมพาชูถ้วยครับ
Sampai bertemu di final nanti.
พวกเราจะเอาแชมป์กลับประเทศไทย
Welcome! It's time to get day 3 of knockout stage started. Group B wrapped it up yesterday, and what a show it was, huh? Asian teams are leading strong, but Brazil, Latin, and MENA are fighting really hard too. Today, it all ends, my friends. 12 teams will rise and move on to Point Rush on the road to the grand finals. Stay with us. Feel every second. This is where Free Fire history is made. And now, let's meet the teams who will take the stage today and fight to leave their mark on the Esports World Cup. First up is Vision System! RRQ! Los! Virus Pro! Red Hawks! Onyx! Warrior United! Oh, Gamers Global! Movie Star R7! Dragons! Big Gaming! The one and only Team Falcons! What an entrance! The Kidia Esports Arena, it's open. And now Free Fire squads have entered the battleground. Each one of them here are chasing glory. Each one are ready to survive the storm. But before we drop into the action, let's take a little trip into the wild. One of our brave reporters has been out in the field tracking rare creatures, the Free Fire pro play. This one you know. The rituals, the movements, the natural habitats. Let's go now into the wild. The world of EWC Deadliest Hunters. Let's go.
Good day, mate. It's me here, Admat, the Play Hunter. We are now right here in Riyadh Boulevard, Ross City for Esports World Cup 2025. And I'm here to try to find out what does our pro player doing here in Boulevard. It seems that I'm lost. Can't seem to find anyone here. Could we find a pro player here to see what they're doing? Where are they? I still can't see them. I think the map's broken. Maybe here? Oh, crikey. Spots a few pro players walking. Not you. It looks like they are entering some sort of an arena. I think we should go. Let's go. Let's find out What are they doing? Mate, we are now right here in some sort of arena. It called itself as STC Gaming Arena, but I'm not so sure. And it looks like I have spotted a few pro players doing some sort of ritual. I do not dare to get close. Crikey, look at that. They are trying to get the luck from the previous team that has won before. Such an amazing behavior. Nothing like that have we been seeing. They're trying to pull all the luck here from the previous winner. Oh my God, it looks like they are going away. Come, let's go. Let's go after it. Go. Crikey, that was so good.
Hello guys. Hello, map. Hello. The map for the play. I know. I player. Oh, you're player. Yeah. Thank you. Robert.
Alright, we're gonna catch up towards the pro player. It looks like they're exiting the vicinity. Oh, they stopped. Oh, crikey. They're angry. No, they're not. They're just doing their final bow for luck. And it looks like they are going somewhere else. Let's go. We don't miss it. Let's go. We're almost lost him. Let's go. Oh, sorry. Okay, it's fine. Oh, it looks like they added another one. Now there's 3. What a weird behavior. I think this is the continuous chanting for good luck. Mate, this is something I don't see every day. Oh, Crockett, it looks like they have done their ritual. They have went back to their habitat. And that it's all here at Boulevard EWC 2025. I'll see you guys later. Danger.
Welcome to the Free Fire at the Esports World Cup 25 knockout stage, day number 3, where nothing is granted, everything is earned. You're here to start the show with me, Husky, and the Mustachio AJ. 6 more rounds between Group A and Group C, and until then, we'll find out which 12 teams will make it to Point Rush and eventually the grand finals.
Everything is earned, in some case stolen. That's exactly what we want to tune into today. Group E, unfortunately, they have laid their chances to rest. 12 games in total. They've pulled away whatever they can pull from the competition. Alpha 34, it doesn't take a genius to figure out they are definitely not going to be at Point Rush. But the question still is in the balance. Hot shots from Pakistan. Will they make it? 87 points. That's not too much, Husky.
Yeah, that's not too much, but they ended yesterday in 7th spot.
Yeah.
That's a spot higher than what we wanted from them. We wanted them to just be in top 8, and they did, and they went one step above. And like you said, the question is, can they still survive today? We still need 5 more teams at least to not make it. Alpha 34, they did their best to drag Hotshot Esports down, and let's see if that has paid off.
Of course, there were some questions in the air. Will Fluxo make it? 106 points in total. Obviously, it's not the most up there at the top of the leaderboard. Fun fact, last year they got 102 points and they scraped through at the 12th spot. So it's a little bit better, but either way, it looks like they are going to be making it through. Of course, it's going to take a mountain of effort from any of the teams currently in the bottom 6 to oust Fluxo from their 4th spot. 106 points is quite tough to reach, because if you look at Virtus Pro, down in the 13th place, they've only got 52 points, so quite a journey for them to climb up. And we got to also remember, they're going up against the other teams from Group A and C. Obviously, they're going to be picking up those points as well, so it's not as straightforward every single game. These teams need to be in that final circle. Speaking of final circle, Red Hawks, if they want to stand a chance, they need to be in every single final circle with a minimum of 5 to 7 eliminations. And dude, that's tough, man. They only performed for 3 games on their first day of play.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how brutal this format is. You only get 2 play days in the knockout stage. Every single round that you kind of give away to your opponents, you need to make up for it twice as hard. And I think for Red Hawks, I agree with the calculation. We kind of went over the numbers behind the scenes, but I gotta add another caveat today. I think a booyah is necessary for Red Hawks, right? Just in case, just as an insurance policy, as we head into game number 1. Again, the final 6 rounds before we find out which 12 teams will make it through. We're heading over to Bermuda once more. And for fans out there, you can rest assured that this flight path is very, very generous, straight down the middle.
Absolutely, and of course it's going to be fair and easy. EVOS Esports though, they are the group stage leaders with 154 points at the very top. Everybody thought it was going to be core memory sticking it at the very top, but of course beating them with those 4 points, and Rasya definitely faced it with a huge smile on his face. A majority of the eliminations pulled away by the Wonder Kid, and this was that fair flight path that we were talking about. Peak totally conquered by Buriram alone, and Dragon splitting up very early in the game. I don't feel good about this.
You know what I don't feel good about as well, AJ? VP and Redhawks. They both just dropped in the same spot, and we see very early gunfights, and this is gonna be very bad for Redhawks if they don't make out of this alive. Ideally, if you can somehow beat VP, that would be great. We've seen Redhawks pull off miracle in the earlier rounds in day 1, but that's a day 1 thing, right? That's the thing. That's the unknown. But right now, I think VP have studied Redhawks. They need to somehow make this work.
And of course, if the Bangladeshi players want to stand a chance here, they have to play the reversal here however possible. Plasma gun in the hands of Flicker. Shot up from up top. Great rotation by Puwara. Has got the AUG in hand. Great range on that gun, and Flicker does not want to challenge him. But now all the players all together down on the ground. Puwara with his head sticking out. This is danger zone, but he's managing the situation well.
Yeah. With very limited resources to work with, these movements are a lot more important. So Redhawks go into a 3-1 split. They leave Flicker on the flank. Same as Virtus Pro, who have the same idea. So if whoever can catch the flanker first is going to come out on top. We see Diamond already going on the hunt. VP changing from 3-1 to a 2-2 split. Kutun will make first contact. Good damage being dealt. Fuara getting down by Blade. And now Redhawks bring into action. Nameless also goes down. A trade comes from the side of Diamond, but VP are losing numbers.
Beautifully played. The revival comes through in the nick of time by Diamond. And he's going to get sprayed down. What a save coming on through. Export is there with the double vectors as well. Great rate of fire. Damage not too much. But Redhawks has got this in their pockets. 3 players taken out of the equation already. 1 more playing his chances up against 2. The M590 and the MP5. Exposi. Riptide Rhythm to break down their defenses, but that's just asking for trouble early. Kutush finds the knock. And Virtus Pro off on the back foot, and Redhawks picking up a very, very, very important win here at the start of this game.
Feels like deja vu from game number 1. Blade drops back in just in time to loot the rewards, the bounty that the rest of his teammates have laid out on the floor alongside the corpses of the Virtus Pro players. And I gotta say, Nurjat saved that fight because the rest of his teammates were down and Nurjat clutched it. Thankfully for VP, someone was revived. The run continues for the Polar Bears, but it's not gonna get any easier. Same can be said for Vision System because Lost has them in their crosshairs.
Yeah, Vision System needs a miracle to qualify for Point Rush today, but they go up against one of the most dangerous teams out there in Brazil, and I dare say in the competition. But they are mowing them down. Unbelievable stuff. Rigby 245. Final player in here, round 1 picked up right quickly. And Vision System could not go in for the final blow, but they still outnumber the players of Lost. Only for the next few seconds. Rigby has got enough money to buy back his 2 other team members. But Vision System, timing is key here. And the guy that just got picked up mowed them down instantaneously. Lost with the instant recovery. M598 enough for you, boy. Rigby with the MP40 should be able to make quick work of Andres.
And suddenly, in a blink of an eye, Vision System Andres is forced to run away. He does have enough coins to get a revive. Ring around Rosie. Can he do this fast enough before they clear him out in round corner? And there is just not enough time. Vision System, they fall in the hands of Lost, and off-screen, Virtus Pro gets wiped out.
Man had enough time to buy back the whole world, but a misclick for sure. Not even a single revival, and Vision System out. They were already at the very bottom of the leaderboard. I guess that is exactly where they will stay. Unfortunate for them, but what a start, and holy hell, what a recovery from Lost.
Recovery from Lost and Redhawks, right? Both teams were at the back foot in their respective 4v4s, and both of them recovered. This is the start we expected from loss, but this is a start we wanted for Red Hawks.
Oh yeah.
That difference, that contrast is what's going to make this a lot more interesting with how Red Hawks are rotating right now at Shipyard, but south of them it's going to be Team Falcons and Movie Star R7. That is going to be a challenge.
Ami Tomake Balobashi, Bangladesh. This is exactly what we need out of the squad. But here comes another deadly predator up in the air. Falcons, they want to fight. Question is, does Red Hawks have enough in their arsenal to shut them down? Dragons, on the other hand, up against Buriram earlier on. And it looks like it was deadly snipes all around for Moshi, knocking down player after player after player, picking up those crucial points for Buriram.
Thank goodness Dragon Esports are still in this. I'm not really sure about the state of Red Hawks though. Falcons, they are very aggressive. You're not ready, they're going to tear you apart and into pieces. It's going to be the case for the side of Red Hawks. Kutush also goes down and suddenly Red Hawks have been sliced in half. But Movie Star R7, they hear the gunshots, they are here to fight the Falcons.
Well, two can play at that game, says Movie Star R7. They want to be the movie stars here as well. One deadly predator out of the skies. Joker, VSK in hand. Great range for the gun, but fails to find any connection on those shots. They've got the players of Falcons flanked already. Peter, unfortunately for him, does not find any tags under the player up top, but here comes SWAT, and he is the clutch king of R7. Will he get the shot in? Games King, M590 in hand. Unfortunately, it is their own player that gets knocked down to the ground, and Falcon standing their ground.
Kororo just now broke his ankles, but they brought him back up. See the rotation from Della. Star player from yesterday, Joker, finally pulls the trigger, and that's on fire down. Games King actually got Peter as well. Two members of Falcons down, but they need the confirmation, and they get it. Kororo now hightails out of there. Hides behind the building. It's him and Limit and a lot of members of Movie Star R7 that they need to surgically cut through, but this is not going to be easy.
Limit has got the right guns here, the VSK and the AWM in hand. He just needs the right opportunity, but he's also waiting for the rest of his team members to back away so that they can play that game of revival. He's buying the squad more time, and as he stays hidden, it looks like Movie Star R7 is not detective in this situation. Opportunity to get those snipes as the players are up in the air. Can Limit hit it?
They do see Limit now. Finally spotted out 1v1 Limit with a flick and 2 shots in a row. Of course, Limit is the one that wins that one now. A free point for Team Falcons, number 5. But that is going to call to attention the rest of Movie Star R7 to kind of to come and tie up loose ends. Limit now will be surrounded. Games Kings is going to be player number 2 to make contact right around the corner. Limit fights it now on the Joker, but it's just not enough. Movie Star R7 finds their 4th point, but Team Falcons have bought enough time for Kororo to make a run.
That's a masterclass in distraction. There's a masterclass in buying your squad more time. But of course, Kororo, as he gets away, I believe he flew straight into the crosshairs of Red Hawks, so we'll have to wait and see if or not Falcons can stay alive a little bit longer. It looks like the jump pad has been invested in as Kororo finds a good exit out of there. Flicker does not get that shot, and Falcons will live to tell the tale a little bit longer here. Time and time again, we've seen this out of Falcons, almost wiped out at the start of the game, and they just make that huge comeback with the booyah at the end.
Yeah. And just to add on to that, that was exactly what happened on their very first game on day number 1 and the 3rd game. So history could repeat itself. If you want to take out any sort of opponents, you got to cut off the head of the snake. In this case, the head of the Falcons. As Dragons Esports make their rotation, runs into a wild Kutush who just got revived and now will have to be revived again.
Yeah, man, Dragon off to a decent start here. First elimination, squad on that full revival. Thankfully, Seamox was left standing and he could bring the rest of the team members back in here. But RRQ, very stealthy, very quiet, picking up the most needed weapons. You see a double AWM setup in their hands. Here at Bermuda, it is going to be absolutely deadly, especially in the open grounds later on as this circle comes into a close, dragging all of the players towards the area of either Bhima Sakti or Clock Tower in a bit.
And RQ is a team that even they have said in an interview, always second, never first. In this case, for the side of AJL, they've also have tasted that. But R7, they're fighting back, 2 down the side of AJL. not willing to let this go. He has a lot of memories, past memories on the international stage, and this is going to be one that he refuses to leave in regret. The rest of AGAL gets back up. Movistar R7's forced to run.
Oh, what a damn backup that was, due with the instantaneous shot as he whipped out that AC-80. But now, Chinoy on the chase here. AC-80 in his hands. That Oscar, that Valiant Dash was just used. So he doesn't really have an option for a last-ditch effort for the defense. But thankfully, AGL does not want to stand by and play around with him. Hax has an opportunity to go for a revival, but the man's absolutely broke now.
Not just broke, he also does not have any medkits to work with. The blue is going to be the one that takes him out if this continues. So he's desperate to find any sort of resource, any sort of coins. It's going to be a race against time. As Lost, they actually picked up a member from Team Falcons earlier on. The Falcons now down to 2. Enough points on the side of On Fire. Peter gets brought back once more. Falcons still trying to recover.
Yeah, on the back foot here for Falcons. But, you know, it really matters not Lost and Falcons, both at the very top of the leaderboard. I think they can sleep the whole day and still qualify for Point Rush here. So this is just a warm-up game at the end of the day for these two squads. Phenomenal performance on their day one. On Fire, take it away. Nando 9. Car from afar. Accurate shots, not wasting those splits at all.
So Peter is actually in the middle of the circle. Falcons basically forced into just pure survival mode. It's no longer about fighting for points. It's about fighting to live long enough. Kunto, you surely see this, right? Karoro now will have to fight. Valiant Dash being used. Sudden Barros had to ruin that 1v1.
Hey, what was that? Valiant Dash did not find the connection with the glue walls. Tried to use him like a Tatsuya. Put himself in danger by turning his back onto his opponent. Easy knockdown. AGAL though, in shooting distance. Karoro's going to be in a lot of trouble. Has the M590. He's going to break down the glue wall, but Payne is going to be keeping AGAL a tad bit distracted here. And View takes that high ground position. He wants to flank around with those snipes. Question is, can the rest of them squeeze themselves in? Because this circle is starting to hurt.
Double Reparator being used early on. Barros trying to provide support fire alongside Dew. As Motovia slowly falls behind, but unfortunately for the rest of Payne, they might have to force a contact. As Peter gets dropped down into incredibly low Noda as well. They do manage to heal back up, but still not finding any opening against AGAL. Barros now jumps into the time turner. Saifa actually loses his fight, and now they're gonna play footsies, but no one does it better than Noda. AGAL ends up losing 2, and now Peter trying to fight. Taste that, Chinoy. 3 down for AGAL, and Payne survives.
And AGAL, one final survivor here, potentially straight into the hands of Dragons. R7 Della taken out of the equation. All thanks to Peter. And Movistar R7 out of the race in the 10th spot. Spain makes their way up towards that high ground. Dragons remaining silent, not wanting to play a little bit of a misstep here. Either way, when they play that rotation, they have to come across either Payne or put it up, and that's going to be most definitely painful for the Dragons.
And I'm just going to say that Red Hawks are single-handedly contributing to the revival stats in the game. They have so much revived, but it's good for them, right? Still in the game, but the window is definitely closing as we now turn our attention to Dragons Esports finally making their way towards where the war zone is. Payne Gaming and Lost now fighting. RRQ also part of this conversation. Dus getting a knock onto Rigby, but rescue will be here. Rigby should be fine.
Playing with the elevation, smartly done here by Lost. And that recovery is going to be instantaneous as well. They do tank a little bit of damage from the blue. That's not going to be too much, but they cannot shrug off. Problem is going to be still Peter here, looking for the gatekeep. And I do agree with you, man. Red Hawks, what a performance on the revival so far. We have asked for them to get into that final circle. That's exactly what they're trying for. Now get high, going rampage with the grenade launcher. M79 in hand, taking away 1 life. Adam down as well. Nejad has got the big guns in hand. Grenade launcher in the hands of Red Hawks is going to give them a huge advantage here.
The Red Hawks did lose Flicker thanks to RRQ, who decided to join in as party number 4. The BRU are the biggest winners out of this all. Most players can't even get to them where they are. Get high somehow, getting Blade as Noki wants to steal it but could not do so. Blade falls, Red Hawks down to just 2, and Onyx will have to find a way out of this because Buriram have guarded all the main entrance.
And Dragons finding Nejad as well. Unfortunate for Red Hawks, but Payne Gaming makes the exit first. in the 8th spot. Red Hawks with their final survivor left in here looking for the next zone and has found it already. Question is still going to be, does Kutush has enough? Because you get revived with those 2 glue walls and the P90. I believe that's all he has. Riptide Rhythm breaking down the defenses of Peter and the backstab. Loss is still in it as Falcons will falter in 7th.
Good shot from Ao to stop Haone. And now Lost have to make a decision. Do you abandon him or do you bring him out? There's no saving pride Haone in this game. Ao takes him out. Red Hawks eliminated in 6th place. RRQ finally showing their presence. Rigby has all his glue wall being melted. RRQ just sprays them down. Case led in this. And Nandona cannot survive. Unfortunately for Lost, this is where it ends.
Yep, they lost that one up against the Indonesians who were desperate for a booyah for themselves. But the surprising ones are the team from EMEA. Dragons Esports, 7 eliminations strong, looking for that final circle in the top 3. This is what we need. This is the kind of improvement we wanted out of Red Hawks, but we'll have to wait for the rest of the game from the day. For the time being, it's the silence play, and Dragons will find the circle, but they also find Buriram running out there.
And Buriram will take initiative. Actually, a decent trade at the very start, but Dragons quickly overwhelmed as Dus decides that he also wants a piece of the pie. Maybe RRQ's intervention will be enough for the Indonesians to start the day out with the Booyah. Kiba ends up going down, Get High, still around, but it's him and Moshi. Can they pull this off? A 2v3, Moshi in the red and Get High desperately trying to hang on. They just cannot pull it off. Abai brings RRQ to a Booyah in game 1.
RRQ with their very first Booyah here at EWC 25. And you cannot ask for anything better. They start the day off from the 12th spot. And obviously they're going to be getting those points. One of the best Indonesian squads. Some may argue the best, of course. They could not get to the championship this time on FFWSC because Onyx snuck that one away. But they're most definitely going to hit the big numbers here.
Some people forget that RRQ placed 2nd in the recent championship. And that's why they always say, why are they always 2nd? Why never 1st, right? You look back at the track record of RRQ, they are always in the top spot, but when it matters the most, RRQ falls short. This is a story of redemption. A team that built a legacy, that set the benchmark for the Indonesian region, now have bred new blood that overtook them locally, but they also kind of missed the feeling that when they were still at the top.
Yeah, the 2nd spot curse also infecting their brothers from Indonesia. We saw EVOS Esports last year at EWC 24. They did so well, but of course Falcons beat them to the championship. They walked away with the 2nd spot. That was very impressive, and they have not dropped their momentum at all. They've kept that going, and now with the acquisition of the Wonder Kid, they look absolutely dangerous. They ended yesterday at the very top of the leaderboard, and now they are the squad to beat. But of course, we're going to be taking a quick short break here. When we come back, it's going to be Purgatory time, baby.
Lihat nih. Gua pasang glue wall, gua lempar bom, terus musuhnya rata. Gimana tuh? Lu udah nunjukin ini ke kita 7 kali. Tapi setiap gua tunjukin ini keren kan? Perang. Gak bisa. Gua sekarang. Knock. 3 lagi. Ngurung. Ini 2 orang ngurung nih. Tuh, sekarang. Gua 3 Dut. Mana ya, Dut? Naikin, Bay. Di gua nih. Parat, oi.
Di gua. Masih di gua.
Tahan.
Mungkin gua.
Parat. Santai guys.
Dude.
Though RRQ may have started a little bit slow here at EWC 25, they kick things off with day 3 with their very first booyah on Bermuda. And Indonesian fans, I can imagine they are cheering for them at home, in the chat, anywhere that they are, because RRQ, maybe today's the day that they finally come back, because to be honest, they were very, very quiet for their first play day. Gideon, I'm going to have to start with you here. What was the major factor that actually brought RRQ back into EWC?
I think for one, I'm pretty sure that the audience in the arena itself, if you've ever heard of it, RRQ, no matter where they are, it's always home soil, it's always home ground. The kingdom always provides for them, especially with the fans. But in terms of the in-game, we've seen two sides of an interesting story, right? The proactivity within the game. When we're looking at the match rankings, right? Notice how majority of these teams aren't reaching into the double digits because fights are not only concluding extremely quick, but only very few squads, like Dragons, are able to actually recover from the initial first impacts, and then all teams, majority of them playing on the outside, unless you're BRU or RRQ, who took their time to show presence later in the game.
And now looking at the rankings, I'm surprised as well that Lost is in there, because earlier when they went against Vision System, they were almost out. Only 2 remained, and then as quickly as that, just wiped out Vision System, and they are back in play, taking that number 4 spot.
I mean, there wasn't even a good idea from Vision because, you know, they are kind of struggling in the tournament. So they can, I mean, try to fight against like one of the favorites to win the title, you know. So that was not like a good idea at all. So I think it's better for them if they avoid this type of fights, you know.
Yeah, high risk, but, you know, high reward, right? Sometimes you kind of have to take those risks if you want to keep your spot here at EWC 25. But it's pretty interesting that already right off the bat, we're seeing a very, very quick pace, right? The first 2 days, I kind of feel like the teams, yeah, they were kind of going fast as well, but it wasn't to the degree where everyone was kind of waiting for that third circle to make their move. It was from the get-go, you see people, you smell that blood, they're in your sights.
It's extremely evident when we do see Falcons taking the initiative to go, again, proactively looking outside of the ring to fight a squad. They end up winning the fight, especially against Dragons. And then, Red Hawks, and all of a sudden R7 decides to get involved in these fights, right? And this was happening all across the map, you know, from north side to the southern side. And once we get to that third ring, I think that's when people started to realize, oh boy, this is going to be a pretty deadly match. A majority of people have lost a couple of fingers walking into the ring.
Speaking of deadly, I mean, you did mention it's always back-to-back engagement all throughout the map, but towards the 12-minute mark, we still have 10 teams remaining, and we seldom see that in competition here. Probably in the regional, yes, it is possible, but it starts slow. But this didn't start slow. It's just from the drop, they're always engaging, and quite surprising why there's still a lot of teams left.
Well, and I want to add about the fight of Falcons against R7. That it's really interesting to see like R7 performing that way because they are not afraid to be like face to face with other Asian teams. So that's kind of interesting because you know, Games King was like shooting at Falcons and he was like doing such a great job, you know.
Yeah. I do agree. I mean, GameSkin is one of the player that's really doing so much. Thus, all of the top damage that has been dealt right here being shown. And I would love to see a lot more from them. But look at the balance in terms of Burim United. Damage and elimination. It means that what they're reaping, they're sowing.
I disagree. They're doing too much damage. They're not getting enough eliminations. They're pumping out twice the amount of damage we're seeing everything the other teams are doing. And teams like Dragons, for example, which I'm extremely impressed by, I thought it was almost done for them. They managed to recover, they managed to re-equip, and they also managed to get into what, in this case, the final circle, which is only the 6th ring.
Okay, I want to play with the idea because we saw Buriram having one of the highest eliminations and damage. What if they're struggling to get those eliminations? Like, they're the ones starting the fights, but everyone else is coming in, they're vulturing, they're stealing away those kills. Like, they can't play the game that they want to play. Like, is this maybe a warning sign that Buriram, though they might be feeling pretty confident coming into their second play day, maybe things are just not panning out for them yet?
I refuse to believe it. I think they're just that good.
Yeah, I mean, we know for a fact Buriram United doesn't start their fight towards the 15-minute mark or close to that. And at that point, they had no choice. So they put in so much of damage, so put in a few elimination, even if they don't finish them up.
Right. It looks like we are ready to fly into Purgatory Survivors. So let's fly into match number 2 with Husky and AJ.
Purgatory time, baby! And it was a phenomenal booyah from Indonesia, courtesy of RRQ. But of course, seeing EMEA up at the top, seeing the Dragons breathe fire, that's exactly what we want to see out of the squads who are struggling to get into the top 12. But even if they do break into the top 12 right after this, the story would not be over just yet, because down at the bottom 6, all the teams at this point in time are from Group A and C who are in play today. So you have to keep this performance up game after game, Husky.
And I think this really puts into perspective how teams like Virtus Pro, for example, right, has had a very weird knockout stage experience so far. Yeah. They have the highest highs, but they also have the lowest lows. I guess you could compare them to Fluxo. The only difference being that at least Fluxo has a more even average throughout until the end of the last 3 rounds of yesterday. Another generous flight path, you know, we've been a lot more kinder to these two groups in Purgatory, right down the middle once more towards the northeastern side. And Virtus Pro, at least this time, gets to head to Moat House.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And of course, they are not going to be disturbed for the time being. Diamond, one of their key players, has to pop off the M590, perhaps not having the Tatsuya on their side with the brand new addition. The updates on OB49 has most definitely affected the pacing of Virtus Pro, but everybody had to go through the exact same changes. They just need to adapt a tad bit better. We see the very first circle coming on through here, and it looks like gonna get the final circle somewhere towards Key Lodge and Brasilia later on, but for the time being, Vision System starting off hot up against Onyx, the champions of Southeast Asia.
The moment you say that, Onyx turns it around and gets a couple of bodies for themselves. In fact, almost wiping out the entire bloodline of PSC this game. Thankfully, Vision System, they do have a survivor. Shix already ran away, but that was as close as it could have gotten. Onyx ended up losing 2 bodies as well, but Zyro instantly gets a revive onto Prime. And also, you look at the radar, Falcons. Day 1, when they did a split, it was a 3-1, 3-5 brigade, 1 a lumber mill. Now today, they dropped all 4 and 5 brigade before splitting up to lumber mill. They understood that RRQ, they also share that island.
Absolutely, just kind of playing it safe, just in case RRQ decides to go a little bit crazy, perhaps drop slightly closer towards 5 brigade. But thankfully, none of that happened. And both the squads still alive and kicking, free to loot up as much as they want. Got a little bit of a airdrop here for Kiba to pick up those medkits and blue walls from as well. But of course, the great big question is going to be, do we see Buriram bucked into R7? Movistar R7 dangerously close to Marvel Works.
It's a good time to also talk about Kiba's history. Previously with Onyx, it was a big part of Onyx. In fact, last year he attended EWC for Free Fire 24 with that squad, and they had a very underwhelming performance. And right now they're on the other side of the aisle. And in fact, even yesterday, Onyx tried to mess up RRQ's momentum for a booyah, and they ended up, it was RRQ, it was a Movistar R7 that pulled through. We get a ping with the Arvon that could be courtesy of BRU as they are heading towards Crossroad, but they will run into Movistar R7.
Yep, now Buriram trying their best to get away here. Movistar R7 definitely in shooting range, and Della is the first player to be found. This is not good for business. Jonah also finding the tags onto Adam, gets the elimination as well, fighting two squads at the same time. Not the best idea here, but Buriram has no choice. Hax runs on in, finds the sniper of Buriram. The rest of them leave him high and dry. They're looking for a safer spot to play. Games King, final survivor, double glue wall, looking for the pickup.
Very unfortunate. Hax needed to confirm Moshi before anything else, but
good play.
Backup of BRU was just too fast. So R7 ends up getting nothing, and they might lose Joker. Thankfully, he's able to launch himself away in time. BRU saving Moshi, and they keep the run going. But it bought enough time for Onyx to move away, but that also might just funnel them straight into Virtus Pro.
Great recovery for both Movistar R7 as well as Buriram. Games King going for the pickup instead of finishing off Moshi. And Buriram, looking at that opportunity, went back in there for the instant pickup just so that they don't have to be on the reset. Moshi gets to keep all of his loot and coins. So neither one of their progress disrupted all that too much. Of course, Movistar losing two players to the side of Buriram wasn't all that too fun. And like you said, Onyx playing that recovery. But now Virtus Pro finding pain. Will they get taken down early once again? Riptide Rhythm going far and wide, unfortunately, for Exposing.
And he's holding his ground very well. He's taking down the glue walls of pain to discourage them. But his glue wall just now prevented Peter from getting a potential shot in. This could be a big flank. Boonjim and Nameless, they have the right idea. Are they going to run into pain? No, Goose exposed. He was not ready for that. The glue wall getting popped down. He has to isolate in his hands, but it's instantly broken down. Peter ends up taking Diamond somehow. And now VP forced into a bit of a defense mode. Glue wall melters all drop down. VP pushes them forward.
Yeah, fantastic grenade pop here. And straight through the glue wall. Finds Gus for the M590. Looking for Peter as well. Glue wall broken down once again. Peter, no cover for him whatsoever. Boonjim left all alone. M590 for the win, but Virtus Pro unable to undo the pain Esports delivered.
And that one is going to hurt. 2 rounds in a row, Virtus Pro got virtually nothing. They're going to end this round with 55 points. And that is still quite far away from a qualification into point rush. They will have to talk about this. They saw Flora out for Boonjim and nothing changed. Onyx now gets a rematch against BRU right here at the Arsenal. But BRU, they do have someone positioned inside the compound. It's going to be Jonah, and Adam sees this. But what is Onyx going to do?
Moshi on the flank, looking for Crime. AC-80 in the hands of Crime. He just needs that double shot. Perfectly aimed at Moshi's head to instantly cripple the flanking capability of Buriram. And both teams playing this absolutely safe. Buriram finally going in for the call on that rush, but the glue wall stopped their own defense for the side of Onyx, and they have to retreat. Grenade popped out, M79 in play. The grenade finds the tag, and Wasana does not manage to recover. Buriram with only Moshi left in the mix here. Pickup just not possible. And man has to run for his life.
Very, very decisive call from Onyx, and that is going to pay off big time, wiping the floor with BRU. And this is where I gotta stake my allegiance. I gotta state my allegiance.
Yeah.
I agree with what one of the panelists said just now. I agree with Gideon. I think, BRU, we all collectively have unanimously said that this is the only team that every single time they don't show up in a round, we said that they're saving stress. But I disagree. I think at this point, it's fair to say that BRU, teams are catching up to them, right?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think Buriram, at this point of time, it's not that, yes, the other teams are catching up, but also the meta has been messing with Buriram for a long, long time. Wasana used to be known as the deadliest hard hitter out there. First, we took his Drogon away, then we took his Tatsuya away. How much more will we torture this boy, Wasana?
I don't know, Brazil has won 2 years in a row. It's about time we get something back, right? They were the reason, I hope they were the reason Skylar got back into the meta, and now Hopers is buffed. Intel Gatherers have all been buffed.
Yeah.
You see Falcons up against RQ. Abe actually took a shot in the face. As we take a look at a bit of a highlight, some good engages earlier on, but we're going to keep our attention on what matters more. Falcons are actually taking down members of RQ.
Yep, finding the first one, but RRQ has got decent enough distance between themselves as well as Falcon to hightail it out of here. Got to fight up against the blue though. Tanking damage from the second circle isn't going to hurt that too much, so RRQ not really playing big risk gameplay here. Just needs to go for that long rotation round. Unfortunately, R7 might just bump into them, so we'll have to catch up with that action in a little bit. Aone on the bike, making a lot of noise, but thankfully nobody around them to find the Punisher with the snipes.
Funny enough, there is a UAV hovering on top of them, and we saw a loot drop as well, an airdrop. They are going to be right smack in the middle of two teams, Dragon Esports, Vision Systems. Well, make that 3 teams because AG, AL are around the corner. That is a big shot from the AWM. Zyro making his presence known. Pain Gaming in the far horizon, but I think Onyx are also in a very safe spot. If they go down southwards to get to the circle, they are going to eventually run into Pain Gaming, with the exception that I think Pain Gaming, they do have a bit of elevation to work with.
Consistency out of Brazil has been phenomenal thus far. Pain Gaming just one of those top performers, 1 Booyah in the bag, and they don't look like they're about to slow down. 87 points in total in their pockets. And they have got literally 5 more games to pick up points, and they don't look like one of those stragglers, right? Game after game, you see them hitting those high numbers on eliminations, whether or not they find that final circle.
Now has been the Philmatic this game for RRQ. 4 revives and counting. So RRQ, they, even though have the full squad still in the game, they have been getting picked off left, right, and center. So Pain Gaming makes that rotation. Onyx most likely will end up dodging them and having elevation once they get to where Pain Gaming are. There is a choice that Pain Gaming could make, right? Take the zip line down to the next location, close to a vending machine, but far away enough from the rest of the teams.
This next circle is going to be crucial. Teams all spread out on the map. It's been moving west side thus far, and usually the game does throw us off a tad bit, but a high potential of moving just towards the outskirts of Brasilia here. Pain Gaming has to deal with Onyx, whether they like it or not. And just on the outskirts of Brasilia, the circle finds AGAL as well as Dragon. Vision System in there as well, but I don't know what kind of miracle they can pull off here. They just don't have enough points in the back.
They could play spoilers, right? Like what Alpha 34 did yesterday. The early encounter between RRQ and Lost, where we saw on the feed itself, Lost getting 2 pickoffs in a row. Haone dealing some critical damage to RRQ at this stage of the game. Again, they got the full revive, but at this point we are more than 10 minutes in. Falcons now arrive, and Kiba, he's not even ready for this. He realized that 3 people shot him back behind him. Quick backstab and a 3-point.
Yeah, poor boy just got revived, had the P90 in hand, just 2 glue walls, refused to use it, could have used it, but now Red Hawks. Bangladesh, can you go up against one of the most lethal Brazilian squads out there? Glue wall melters all laid out, but Flicker, the flank just not working. Riptide Rhythm breaks down absolutely nothing as lost. Pulls the long flank around the right-hand side, down towards the lower ground. Red Hawks pulling a very quick trick here as they fake a lower ground rotation, but they stay up towards the top. Lost not falling for that.
The jig is up though. Haone sees Flicker. He knows what Flicker wants to do. So starts it up with Glue Wall Melter. Take out that cover to force Flicker deeper into the battle. They want Red Hawks to fight honest, not dirty from long range. And that's where Lost thrives the most. Rigby, Raja mentioned multiple times, top 3 rusher of Brazil. If they can funnel Red Hawks into the gun barrels of Rigby, it's going to be beneficial for Lost. Nando Nai got a top ground cover, Lost in an advantageous spot.
Yeah, Kutush. Fingers crossed he's got that Super Med in his hands. Nando 9 taken out of the equation. Great play by Blade. But now here comes the reversal as well as Hanaram finds Kutush. Blade down on the ground as well. Revenge is sweet and pretty instant. And Red Hawks will falter in the hands of Lost.
Lost came in prepared. That was exactly what they wanted to achieve. In the meantime, even off screens, we see Dudes just got knocked by Vision System. Lost did have to pay a bit of price for that. One member being eliminated out of the equation, but small price to pay. Peter getting literally ran down and charged right through. On fire now, tries to redeem it. Joker actually getting tagged from behind. Limit finding Della as movie star R7 takes the wrap of Falcon.
Yeah, without Della, question is how can they play this game of survival? Games kick back in a way. The fourth player down, and Hax has no choice, and a double snipe by Limit will put them in the bag. On fire with the support gameplay as well. AGAL making their approach here. And Falcons need to play this careful. Do they play the circle or do they go hunting for the players of AGL? Either way, RRQ lies awaiting them inside the next circle.
And Falcons with that wipeout freeze up their rotational path. And now they're gonna kind of fast track that. Instantly punish. Andrex is the one that spoils the party. And Abai, just stay still, my little boy. Do not make a move. Wow. Because Vision System are making their presence known. Falcons distracted. Andrex once more with a second collection. Deal steals that away. But Kororo, too late to realize that they made a grave mistake. Abai just needs to wait.
I said Vision System needs a miracle. You said Vision System needs to play. Spoilers, they are doing both. 7 eliminations strong. Vision System needs to avoid that circle though, flying straight in towards Dragons Esports. We need to catch up with Dragons in a little bit because they are getting a tad bit more comfortable here. Lost on the other hand, they don't have the numbers, and RRQ surprisingly out in 8th.
Oh, that was pretty funny. Kororo turned did a 360 and saw him and just blew him up. Another fight, Vision System now against Lost. Rigby actually getting gunned down. This is not panning out the way that Lost wants. The 10 elimination. The blue wall goes down. Vision System showing up late, but not too late. Lost is out.
Oh, I don't know if it is not too late, but it looks like they are wrecking some of the opportunities for the big squads here. Dragons now looking for Vision System. And they had the vision to strike early, but the solid blue walls erected to trap them in the container. They back away. Vision System though, tossing in those grenades is going to be crucial at this point. Dragons won't pull up their own blue wall to avoid the damage.
This is going to be a heck of a confrontation. I don't think we've seen these two teams duke it out 4v4 until this point. Now, obviously, Vision System have more eliminations, and for Dragons, they need to start catching up. A bit of chip damage being dealt down. Jotai actually moving forward, trying to progress. But for Dragon Esports, those blue walls, they're going to melt in an instant. The bombardment commences. Shix once more gets a good snipe, and Dragon Esports trapped in their own building as Vision System cleans up house. There's an extra 4 points on the docket, 13 for VSC.
What a miracle, Vision System! And now full recovery for them. Shix has got the Superman on him. Backs away, but AGL knows exactly what's up. Tossing in all of those glue wall melters, making sure those defenses do not stand erected for long. And Dew with the snipe from afar, he's not the guy who gets the connection. It is Tinoy, Cypher, the combo, absolutely deadly. And they want more. Flirting with the blue, and Shix makes the wrong decision. But either way, there's no running. AGAL puts an end to it and pulls a booyah in the bag.
And AGAL needed a win. Sooner or later, this was also a team that had gone through trials and tribulation on the international stage. A few years ago, Dew was at the height of his career, finishing, I believe, top 4 in FFWS 2022 in Bangkok, Thailand. And ever since then, he has not been able to return to that prime form, whether it's an individual struggle or a team synergy problem. AGAL right now is his best chance, and with this booyah, they are going to remind everyone that they have been contenders all along.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, what a great play from the teams that desperately needed the points, right? 3 out of 4 teams in that final circle are currently sitting in the bottom 6, and Vision System with a stand-up performance. Unbelievable stuff. We have never seen them in that mode. I guess desperation sometimes brings the best out of you.
Not only that, when we finished match number 1, I believe the coach of Vision System, they gathered everyone around and gave them a pep talk. Maybe that was the boost that Vision System needed to get close to the top 3. A booyah would have been great, but this second place finish is good enough for now.
Absolutely. We've got an interview on the stage for you guys as well. Aski and I will be right back with you.
Wow, what amazing matches we have watched so far, and for sure, today is a day for us to never forget. The last day of the knockout stage. And of course, we have to take a word with the first booyah, the first team that got a booyah here today, which was RRQ from Indonesia. And I have here with me Abai. This guy here doesn't need an introduction because you all know him. Okay, so the first match was incredible for you guys. You got a booyah and you all wiped 2 big teams, Los and Buriram, who are also leading the standings, in the top of the standings. And I would like to know, how are you guys feeling right now?
Oke, tentunya di sini kalian berhasil mendapatkan buyah di map pertama dan juga kalian berhasil nge-wipe 2 tim yang teratas di saat ini gitu. Dari Loops dan juga Buriram. Bagaimana perasaan kalian saat ini?
Senang.
I'm just happy.
You gotta say more about it, please.
Nggak senang.
Yeah, I think I'm just happy. I don't know how to express it better.
Okay, that's fair enough. Okay, so I have already said today is the final day for knockout stage. What was the main strategy for the teams? What was your mindset going before start the day? What do you guys have? What talk do you guys have back home to start the day?
Oke, tentunya di sini juga merupakan hari terakhir dari knockout stage. Kita pengen tahu gimana apa sih rencana atau strategi kalian di hari ini dan juga apa sih yang kalian bicarakan tentunya sebelum bermain di hari ini.
Dari poin kemarin kita ya saling menguatkan aja. Terus hari ini mungkin kita cari poin kill sebaik-baiknya sih.
I think what we learned from yesterday is that we just need to communicate better and we just need to talk about what we want to do better. And for today, we just want to get as much skill as possible.
That's probably really good. For us to finish the interview, I would like just have one more question. Is there any specific team that you would not like to advance for the next stage for the grand finals?
Apakah ada tim yang kalian gak pengen untuk bisa lanjut ke babak selanjutnya? Fluxo.
Okay, well said. We have heard enough from Abai. Thanks so much for the interview. We wish you all the best of luck for the next matches. And we will see if you guys can make to the finals. And that's all. Right now, we are going to go for a quick break, but don't wait up because we are going to have way more action right here in Esports World Cup with Free Fire.
Triple kill. Dominate. Unstoppable.
Hello everyone, it's Yunsu. Welcome to the Boulevard, and I'm right here at a haunted house. We have a storyline here, the Zila story, which is for this house, and I'm going to explore the opening for you guys here. Well, the atmosphere is very scary. You see pictures here. What is those sounds? Okay, pictures, dark pictures, very scary. I don't know what is await me there, but I feel so scared, anxious. Why those pictures look so scary? Oh, that is a dead body. Why so many dead bodies here? Cứu tôi là nạn nhân. Hello? Anybody here? Hello? Hi. Okay. I don't know if I'm gonna come back or not, but I'm going to explore the rest for you guys. Then, okay, goodbye.
Some rush in instinctively. Others run the chaos.
What a phenomenal reposition, but with the launch pad straight out the circle, they get a tag on that circle first, and now Buriram fires on to Abe.
This is Wasana.
สำหรับตัวผมนะบทพิสูจน์บทท้าทายก็น่าจะเป็นเรื่องของการเริ่มเข้ามาแข่งใหม่มากกว่าครับ
Buriram United! They just don't win, they dominate. The kings of Booyah are back.
เริ่มมาแข่งแรกๆก็มันแบบเราจะเจอทีมที่เก่งกว่าเยอะช่วงนั้นก็อาจจะแบบว่ามีคนที่เก่งกว่าเราเยอะมากเลยอะไรประมาณนี้แต่ก็พัฒนาตัวเองมาถึงจนจุดนี้ได้ครับ
In Buriram, he's part tactician, part stormbringer, trusted by Gehai, Moshi, Yoena.
อยากแบบเป็นผู้เล่นที่แบบแข่งไปนานๆเลยครับสอนแบบว่าตั้งแต่ตอนเข้ามาแรกๆเลยครับเพราะทุกคนมันเป็นคนที่แบบประสบความสำเร็จมาแล้วมีประสบการณ์มีอะไรแบบผมเข้ามาทีนี้ครั้งแรกก็ไม่ได้มีอะไรเป็นแชมป์หรืออะไรเลยครับแต่พอเข้ามาทีนี้ก็ พี่เขาได้สอนหลายอย่างให้ก็แบบทำให้ผมเป็นผมทุกวันนี้
You gotta really give it to this team. Buram United just going super aggressive right now. Very, very explosive.
A rusher with a plan, a warrior who thinks. This is Wasana, Buriram's quiet strategist.
Now it's gonna be Buriram trying to finish off everything and one more shot. Booyah!
ก็พวกผมก็จะทำให้เต็มที่ที่สุดครับพวกผมหวังแชมป์มันอยู่แล้วครับแต่ก็จะทำให้เต็มที่ที่สุดแล้วก็เอาแชมป์มาฝากทุกคนให้ได้ครับ
The blue will be closing in soon. There's no shift anymore. Here comes Wasana timing that numb. Another booyah!
คือมันวัดกันในหน้าเกมอย่างเดียวเลยว่าแบบว่าใครจะแบบเหนือกว่าก็คือแบบจนได้มาแข่งถึงทุกวันนี้ครับ
ปลาเขียวให้
กูไม่มีระเบิดนะ
ไม่ชิดดิไม่ชิดดิโหลชิดดิกูหน่อยชิดดิกูหน่อยเขียวอยู่ไอ้ปลาระเบิดอยู่
มากูไปชิด
ร้อยหนึ่งเฮ้ยโดนระเบิดร้อยหนึ่ง
ชิดมาเล่นกับกู
พี่ฟ้ามาเฮ้ยหน้าผมพี่ฟ้า
100ชิด100ดาว100ชิด
เลยดาวเฮ้ยกูหน่อยไอ้บอยกูหน่อยไอ้สองตัวพี่ฟ้าอยู่กูยิงฟรีนะดาวตัวเดียวแชมป์ไม่เหี้ย70
ตายมาเลยเฮีย
แต่ว่าพี่ฟ้าทีเดียว
เฮียคิวดาเมจ1,400สูงคิว
AGAL lock in our second booyah of the day, and things are really starting to heat up because the bottom of the bracket are hungry. We have gotten booyahs from teams that are currently sitting outside of that threshold of top 12, and they know they need those points. So all of a sudden, we're getting a very interesting match day where it's not a battle between the Titans at the top, it's a battle of all of the Davids at the bottom.
And this is one thing that we keep saying, and I think I mentioned it from the start of our competition, that treat your every day as if it is the last day, as if you are being eliminated. And I guess that's what's happening right now. Like, high risk, high reward, and this is one thing that those at the bottom 6 are doing right now. And if in case they miss, then I guess they could accept already the fact that they might be eliminated.
Well, we also can still keep looking at Falcons, like doing great eliminations. But something that I want to add, it's that Burira, it's not really doing that good. I think they are not kind of prepared about like early fights, you know. They know how to do rotations and this type of things, but I feel that they weren't prepared at all to meet Onyx at that point.
Yeah, I mean, we really haven't seen Buram, aside from that first booyah that they got yesterday, they haven't really been a major player in the competition. But again, I mean, we spoke about this, right? It almost feels like Buram, they're just slowly trying to peel off that target from their back. They're saying, okay, this target belongs to someone else. We are not a threat to anybody. We are harmless. Please leave us alone when we get to the final stage. But Buram fans, I don't think I'd be concerned either because, I mean, Neptune, I mean, you have the numbers in front of you. Buram are kind of safe, right? I don't think they are at any risk of falling out of top 12.
Yeah, they are safe and they have potential to be able to bring that number. So I think it's just a play not to be in a spotlight of like other players and the teams that will be going into Point Rush and Grand Finals. But I also want to put a spotlight in some of the teams like AGAL as well as Vision System. They were at the bottom of our leaderboard and they were the top as well as the second place in that game. But we also see Dragon Esports survivability at its finest. This is one thing that we want to see from those are the underdogs, and I guess they're working in for the placements before they go for elimination because it was slow in terms of elimination, but they managed to survive a little bit longer.
I'm so glad you brought up Dragons because they have actually been quite consistent today. Although we've only played 2 games, they were the third last team to be eliminated in our first 2 games. So Dragons, I mean, it seems if they keep this up, they have a very good chance of making it to the next stage. But I do want to sort of make a bit of a statement, right? The fact that all the points now are going to the team towards the bottom of the bracket, this actually destabilizes the bottom section of the top 12 because the points are not going to the top because the teams that are in top 12, let's say 12 until
9. You want the points to go to the very top because that means the points are not going towards the bottom teams, but that is not happening. It's the opposite. All the bottom teams are getting it. So now all of a sudden, teams at the bottom are getting scared. So what do you end up doing here as a team that is potentially going to get knocked out of that top 12? Do you now suddenly have to be the ones to make the proactive plays because you can't afford to play passive anymore?
Well, it depends on your play style, but most of the teams, they just have to lay low, go for survivability first. They go for the placement first, and then along the way, if they can get elimination, then that's where they stack up the numbers. Because if you risk so much in terms of fighting against a team, getting a lot of elimination, we've seen that a lot happening, and it is just like disappointing if in case you lose a fight.
It would be. Now here are the overall rankings, ladies and gentlemen, the updated overall rankings. So we're still quite early in the day. Now, of course, we are still seeing a lot of teams from Group B very high up on that leaderboard. But as we continue to play and more points are distributed between Groups A and C, we will start to see a more finalized list of our top 12. Now, Neptune, I know you're the man of numbers. I love to ask you this kind of stuff, okay? Who is looking safe here? We said yesterday that there was a safe threshold, which was, I think, 130 points, wasn't it? So just looking at the leaderboard now, who do you feel is looking pretty safe? Like, where do you think is the safe cross line?
So I guess at this point, for the moment, it is Pain Gaming spot, because currently, like, they are 100 points already, and I don't think they will be short of 30 by the remaining 4 matches. So there's still a lot more that they can do. So hopefully they will be able to chase that number.
All right, we are getting ready for our next matchup, folks. But before that, though, we do have our SMB head-to-head with Gideon. Let's head on over to the main stage. What's up, Gideon?
Hello everyone and welcome to the SNB head-to-head here at the Free Fire EWC World Cup Arena. And this is exciting because with us right now, we have the Falcons fans loud and proud over on that side. We have the teams rallying for each other, but we have to do our jobs. Right now, I am glazing DRG. They're doing incredible. It is halfway or almost halfway through day number 1 right now, and they are just ruining so many hopes and dreams of so many big teams.
I mean, you say ruining the hopes and dreams if we're talking about a team who came all the way to Riyadh. Can we give it up for some of the Red Hawk fans? Give it up for them. They flew all the way in to show some support wherever you're from. If you're from Bangladesh, give them your energy today because this is the most important round. They're going to be looking to get as many points as possible, and based on what we've seen, slow start, but they can do even better. And with these fans in the arena, they can only do the best. Let's throw it off to our casters. It's map number 3. We're going to catch you right after this.
Map numero 3. It's time to head into map number 3. Here we go. Dragons Esports Red Hawks fans flew into Riyadh just to watch them play. But this could be the breaking point, especially for the Red Hawks. But just now we saw a scary side, AJ. We saw that Hotshot is already down 11th spot. Dragon Esports, they have a hell of a good chance of making it if their run continues in this manner.
I honestly thought you were going to say Tash Bunny, but okay. I know exactly where you're coming from. This is danger zone for sure. And obviously, we have to say goodbye to one squad, Alpha 34. We already knew that they stood no chance, but Hotshot's getting pushed down lower and lower. Pakistan can't do anything about that as well. Out of Group B, not a single booyah on their side, 87 points. The bar to exceed is pretty low. But the question still remains, can the teams actually oust Fluxo from their number 6 spot with 106 points in hand? They look pretty solid up there.
Yeah, they do. I think right now, if you are looking at just the standings alone, right? I feel like Dragon Esports, they should be very, very proud of what they achieved. I think the fans from Bangladesh should be very proud of this debut appearance on an international tournament and at EWC of all things. I would not be able to handle the nerves, but here they are, 2 positions away to make it into top 12. And all they gotta do from that point onwards is to maintain it.
Yeah, I mean, Red Hawks obviously need to hustle quite a little bit before they can stand a good chance to sneak into the top 12. And we do have 4 more games on standby here. There's a lot that could happen. We just saw a miracle in front of us. Vision System out of nowhere pulling off a massive game. And that's exactly what Red Hawks need to aim for. The safe plays are not going to cut it anymore. They are on the chopping block. If they don't go crazy, if they don't get aggressive looking for these important points, they are not going to stand a chance. Playing safe and just sneaking into the final circle is not going to cut it as a strategy for Red Hawks anymore. That could have been a strategy from the very start of the competition, but too many of those opportunities have been let go already. And they're not the only ones in trouble. Virtus Pro, did you ever imagine a day that we would see them at the bottom 6?
Definitely not. I think for the Pro, they really need to buck up, right? They got 4 more rounds. There's still opportunities, but cannot make any more mistakes from this point onwards. But before we jump into Kalahari for map number 3, we actually talked to Pain Gaming, so let's listen to what they have to say.
Hi everyone, it's Yunsul and welcome to my interview with the Pain Gaming. So into our first questions, how do you guys feel after taking a rest from the game and today coming with the group A and Group C with very top performance teams? Then how do you feel right now?
Como vocês se sentem depois? Como vocês se sentem depois de ter esse dia de folga e agora jogar novamente com o próximo grupo?
É bem tranquilo, porque a gente já jogou o primeiro dia já. A gente já tem uma noção do que fazer no terceiro dia, porque é muito bom jogar o último dia para sempre ter uma vantagem de pontos.
He said that they are confident and they are okay with that. And playing the third day, the last day, is always good because they know they saw all the other teams and everything, so they are fine with that.
Good, that is a great spirit that I love to hear. So what about loss? How do they feel about losses? Yesterday, loss was very high.
Ela perguntou como vocês se sentem agora com a Luz, né, que foi muito bem ontem e tudo mais. Como tá para vocês esse sentimento?
Bom, é sempre muito bom times brasileiros desempenhando bem e, querendo ou não, nossa meta é ser o melhor time brasileiro e ser o melhor time da competição e ter essa disputa saudável com eles, né? Tentar passar eles hoje.
He said that for us, with the Brazilian teams going well, we are so happy for them, but we want to be the best team on Brazil and win the championship. So they are happy for them, but we'll beat them today.
I understand. So last questions to end our story here. What are you guys expecting the most for today's games?
O que vocês esperam de hoje, dos jogos de hoje e tudo mais?
A gente espera um jogo mais agressivo, um jogo também que a gente tá visando tirar algumas equipes para a final. E é isso. É um jogo mais agressivo que a gente precisa buscar fazer pelo menos aqueles 30 pontos. Tá um jogo mais calmo para nossa equipe e algumas equipes precisam pontuar, principalmente a equipe da Ásia.
And our coach says that we need to be more aggressive today, and we need to make at least 30 points. So we are looking for this aggressive game today, and we know that some teams need to make some points too, and we are here to beat them.
All right, I think it's enough for today. And of course, today's game is going to be the last day of a knockout stage. So everything is going to be very intense because we only have 12 slots to go into the finals. Let's keep support for our team. Of course, support the best Brazilian fans. Support for your favorite team. Here I have with Pain Gaming. Good luck to you guys all today. Fighting!
Pain Gaming ready to deliver the worst to their opponents to keep their spot here in the top 12. At this point of time, they've got 101 points in the bag. That should be good enough, but I'm very sure they want a few more, Husky.
Yeah, I like how the coach was managing expectations. I want them to get 30 points. Yeah, come on, you can get 30 points in one game. And fun fact, Pain Gaming actually in the community tournaments, right after the FFWS Brazil in the earlier season, they actually took out teams like Los and Fluxo.
Oh yeah.
So there is a storyline right now that we are getting closer to its conclusion, where there's a universe. We make it to Point Rush. If Fluxo doesn't make it, it means that the other two teams that have bested them and put them second will be there. Pain and Loss. Can you believe it?
I most definitely can believe it. Anything is possible here on the world stage. Anything is possible at the Esports World Cup. And here you go. The teams in danger. 6 of them. Red Hawks, one of them. They need a miracle for sure. Vision System just showed us what sort of a miracle they are capable of. And obviously, we want to see a little bit more from the Chilean squad. AGAL though at foundation. And very early gunshots here. Not so sure exactly who's aiming for their heads, but they should be pretty safe. I believe we saw a player from the side of RRQ quickly sneak away from foundation. Very sneaky from RRQ, trying to take over 2 compounds at the same time.
Yeah, it was Abai. He fired a couple of shots and he's like, okay, I'm gonna go back to where my team likes the most, which is Refinery, and that has always been the headquarters of RRQ. Goes actually out in the open, finds an airdrop. Bit of a lady luck to say, fortune smiles upon the boat. Pain Gaming so far have really been tearing it up.
Well, this next circle should give us a rough idea as to how the movements of the squads will go. Circle 1 still pretty balanced in the middle. Just moving down south side a tad bit more. And
Redhawks.
The read is pretty accurate from a lot of these squads, but Redhawks getting into a little bit of a tussle here at command post. Not the best of things to happen to the squad that needs a miracle in terms of points. And Nejad could not get away. Climb dropping down like the god of death with the M590 delivers exactly that.
I felt like Redhawks made the wrong read. I guess command post is an Onyx place to be at. They made the rotation straight in. And now Onyx are going to chase down as much Red Hawk members as they can. Kutush will be the first point of contact. Ducks away to the sub. There is a chance for them to lead Onyx into Pain Gaming, but if you are Red Hawks, you cannot be in a position where you are just running for your lives. In this case, they don't really have a choice. Kutush puts up the glue wall, but it's only a matter of time before Noki blasts through that, and Kutush will just have to fight for his life. Doesn't have the health bar to do so. 3 points for Onyx.
I had the right gun, just did not have the right timing there. That plasma gun had enough bullets in the mag to continue spraying on for days. It just didn't help the fact that the assault rifles are now doing more damage to those glue walls. Glue wall melters are very useful, but the assault rifles will bring them down in no time as well.
Zyro actually making a rotation down to the southeastern side and run straight into BRU. So that's going to be some information given over to the team. Instant revive for Onyx. Nothing much was lost in the process. Zyro opts to drop back to command post, even using the binoculars. As we turn our attention to Mammoth, that's where Redhawks escaped to. They will be near Pain Gaming as Movie Star R7 takes on Falcons.
Great recovery here for Redhawks. The double revival will still keep them in play. R7, no Riptide Rhythm's gonna block him. The chrono popped instantaneously. Doesn't take any damage whatsoever on fire. Backs away to the rest of his team members as Della is found. Peter with the aggression on fire though. Misses by a single second. Circles around, finds another window, calls for backup in Kororo as well. Electrotherapy on play, but it's not enough. On fire though, keep the squad in play. On the drop of the M590. And the pickup is not too troublesome at all. Falcons making quick work of Movistar.
Yeah, Games King try, he really did. Joker was able to run away to confinement. There is a vending machine there. They should have the coins to get a revive going. AGAL not doing that well. Cypher and Barros removed from the equation as lost now. Toss that nade actually a bit of a ricochet. Dew able to jump away. Can they pluck him out of the skies? Dew is going to land, but General and Haone is on the case. Trying to go for a swim. That first one is going to miss. Shooting fish in the barrel. Dew makes it to dry land, but Los continues the pursuit.
Good double glue wall, and Dew sends the response. He's got the M82B. Riptide Rhythm breaks down the defense. It's Hanaral. One more shot required, and Dew missing the final opportunity. Haone stepping on out. Dew taking on 2 players at the same time, but not enough glue walls to keep him safe for long. Dew finally is sacrificed, but bought the squad enough time so the rest of them could get away.
Saved by a tree, General. Ducking behind nature to keep himself in the running. Dew going down. Puts AGAL at once more another precarious position. Sure, the revives come true, but they've lost big weaponry. Vision System, the second place finisher in the previous round, now finds themselves head-to-head with Dragons Esports, the 2 teams that both Gideon and Tash mentioned earlier on in the head-to-head.
Dragons not too far away from the top 12. But once again, the teams that they're going up against here in the bottom 6 are mostly from Groups A and C who are in play today. Alpha 34, the one squad that can't do much about their position. Hot shots as well. So 2 spots guaranteed. In order to make more, they need to push Fluxo out of the leaderboard here as well. And that is most definitely going to take a massive amount of points. Vision system, I wonder if this miracle play can continue for them though.
It's looking more and more possible for sure.
Yeah.
But the consequences of that would be pushing up Fluxo means that Hotshot is guaranteed to not qualify.
Oh yeah.
Because they are the next on the list, they're the next on the chopping block.
I think it's pretty much guaranteed already. Hotshots are not going to be making a 2-point rush. They're just way too close to the bottom of the leaderboard. And the rest of the teams don't really need all that too much. For example, Dragons, they only need about 20 points to catch up.
Yeah, 20 points.
That's not a lot. I mean, Dragons in the previous game, massive stuff. Getting to that final circle, 6 eliminations, it's going to be more than good enough for them. They just need to do that, and they've got 4 chances to do so, right? So I'm hoping EMEA gets a shot here at Point Rush. Doesn't matter what they pull away from the Grand Finals. Seeing them there at Point Rush and Grand Finals itself is going to be absolutely fantastic.
And it gives them a chance to win the whole thing with the Champion Rush format too.
Amen.
We've seen that happen firsthand with Onyx.
Yeah.
Not to take anything away from Onyx, they definitely are doing slightly better than they did in their first day of match. But I think it's also fair to say that if Dragons make it through, this is going to be the first time in a grand final setting we have someone from a less mentioned region.
Yeah.
That would be historical.
Absolutely. I mean, they are pretty much the favorites at this point of time for many of them in Saudi Arabia. Can you imagine after this competition, Dragons Esports finds themselves a little bit of a bigger sponsor, maybe one that has got a hub here at the Boulevard itself.
We've seen Twisted Minds pick up the roster of the current Virtus Pro last year, right? Not the greatest run, but it is a possibility.
Falcons may be taken already by this squad that we see in front of us, but Twisted Mind still waiting for a team to be worthy so they can pick one up. But Genghis King walking away. Movistar R7 in a lot of trouble. Limit. BSS in hand, got the rate of fire, and switches out to the M590 just to dodge it. What a riptide rhythm, courtesy of Limit, going 2 for 2 there.
2 for 0. So much commitment from the side of Movistar R7. You can't blame them. They needed to stay in the round, and they know that they have to play distraction. So that 2 revives early on is going to carry on the legacy of R7 in this round. But for Team Falcons, they've definitely found their mojo. 7 eliminations and counting, and confinement. Plenty of time to loot things up. The blue is closing in, but it doesn't really affect Falcons too much just yet.
Limit is super rich at this point of time. 2,900 coins in his pocket. Falcons are coin rich in case anything does go south for the squad. Finding a recovery isn't going to be that big of a problem, but finding a recovery on a map like Kalahari late game is going to be a massive issue for sure. So Falcons need to stop flirting around outside the safe zone and make it into the circle. But when they get to Bayfront, they should bump into R7 once again. RRQ, on the other hand, is sneaking around, just making good use of the lower ground. And this is a smart play from RRQ. They're anticipating for the circle to land somewhere around here, and the final circle to get to the spot where RRQ is at, the probability is extremely high.
And I do wonder what is going to be RRQ's next move, right? We saw a couple of binoculars. RRQ got scanned out, Red Hawks got scanned out, and now a third one on the map that we're seeing. Dragons Esports also got spotted out. Onyx just flew in. AGAL, though, will be the ones that we're focusing on. It's going to be playing gaming against them, and sadly, Barros didn't really get a chance to fight back. He tried to be the hero early on, and this time he will just be a past memory. Pain Gaming finding 2 easy pickoffs, and AGAL, I feel like we've seen this storyline before. He picks himself back up, but Dio pushed out the portal, tries to go for the buffer, couldn't make it through in time. He really tried, but he just could not escape Motovia.
Yeah, no glue wall there to make a miraculous play happen for himself. A tad bit unfortunate. Had the horizon line in hand. We were about to see a miracle play courtesy of Dio. One of the best snipers in the past, just hasn't been hitting those sharp shots recently.
That will free up the path for rotation for Pain. They are pretty deep out into the circle. Another scan from the binoculars early on reveals where Red Hawk is. I feel like I could say it could be from Pain, because that's the most direct path into the circle. If you try to circle around the northern side, then cross in the refinery, it's going to take too long with the siren blaring.
Raone surely on the move, looking for Russia's #1 spot in terms of being the deadliest guy out there on the battlefield. Not too far away from getting that done. Vision system from up top. Beautiful knock onto Joker. That's not going to be enough to stop the pace of the squad. For the time being though, nobody else has got the elevation to deal with Vision system. But a couple of hook guns and a couple of jumps later, Vision system's going to be in a lot of trouble. But for the time being, the circle looks for them. Great positioning from the squad.
The biggest winner right now on the map is actually Los. They are uncontested, coming in from the northern side. And they can get a free entry if they want.
Yeah.
But for the rest of the team, it's about to get incredibly bloody. We are almost 12 minutes in, and we still have 11 full squad. And to fight at the eastern side of the refinery, a couple of structures, high-rise structures, but plenty of open ground.
We also spotted Los using the binoculars, managing to scan out 4 players on the side of Movistar R7, so they do know that if they make a straight beeline for the safe zone here, they're going to be in a little bit of trouble. But all thanks to the elevation that Kalahari presents, they play the cliffs to their advantage. They maintain cover as they approach the other squads. Buriram, on the other hand, one might expect them to break a leg with that fall, but once again, thanks to the hook gun, which is pretty much cheap and available for everyone. Moshi not allowing Nejat to get away. Boonjame chipping in as well. Wasana fighting Exposi. Virtus Pro back away, Buriram says.
And this is just, again, showing us how experienced BRU players are. That decision to take fire was so quick and decisive. And Moshi landing those initial shots, that is what's going to make a difference in these crucial moments. BRU now rotates forward. They're going to make a bit of detour towards the western side of the map and try to cut through from that compound, from that area. But it will put them in the crosshairs of Pain Gaming and RRQ.
Buriram has not looked dangerous in a while. Waiting for that prime time to strike, and I wonder when that would be. Onyx, the only team eliminated thus far, and Red Hawks are very close to the exact same fate. But Moshi, Wasana, both going down. Pain Gaming delivering the hurt. Motovia with the sharp shots from across. Get High desperately hanging on. Has got the M79. Needs another grenade to wreck the chances of Peter here.
Yeah, Jonah is going to try and help, but Get High has already been knocked down by Noda. And BRU once more collapsing in the hands of Pain Gaming, as they pay the price of 2 members, but at least they're still in it to win it.
Unbelievable stuff. Buriram in the 9th spot. There's a high probability they get eliminated if they keep up this slow pacing for themselves. If we don't see an aggressive version of Buriram, they are probably not going to be at point rush. But look at Lost, circling on in. Falcons in trouble, they see the team wide open. Grenade after grenade. Hararal, Howdy, dropping those nades like they hot, and Falcons dropped right when they found them.
Caught completely unaware and given a shallow burial by Lost. The Brazilian champions once more showing us the aggressiveness. Before the show even started, we saw Lost talking about their playstyle.
Yeah.
We see, we shoot, we take down, we eliminate, and we win. And that is how they won the domestic championship. Finished 4th last year on the stage, 3 out of 4 of them. And right now, they're about to make that point once more. Motovia finding Ma'al from up top, VSE with the steal.
Unbelievable stuff out of the Brazilian squads this time round. They all want blood, and they find those points behind those shots. Movistar R7 in a decent spot. Dudes wants revenge. Forced back by the circle. Can't go in there for the extra point. Will focus on their own placement first. Lost on the other hand with a quick reposition. And this is absolutely smooth from the squad. Pain Gaming on the other hand loses Motovia and gets taken out in 7.
And Lost puts themselves in the circle too. They have VP and Dragon Esports to deal with, but as long as they take care of teams like Movistar R7, they can stand there forever because Dragon Esports are also preoccupied. Like shooting free target. Welcome to the firing range of Dragon Esports. VSE and RQ having a tough time dealing with this team from the Middle East as Lost locks in their 15-point and counting.
Again, you see Dragon Esports in the top 3, making the top 2, going up against the top dogs of Brazil. Dragons Esports, I don't care, even if they don't walk away with the victory over loss here, they're winning my heart for sure.
Raone with the
down
grenade.
on the ground, Raone is going to finish this off all with the grenade launcher.
Seafolk does get a trade onto Rigby, but again, unique confirmation. Rigby ends up going down. Lost at 16, 17. Rampage for Raone, 7 under his belt. The aggression for Yasuda, he takes the fight straight to loss to take a gamble, but it did not pay off. The dice was rolled, but it was lost that comes out on top. Booyah! Once more, 3 for loss.
3 for loss, and the boys have found dominance up on top, and Raone has found the #1 Predator spot, kicking Russia into the 2nd position with his aggression. Grenade launcher for the win. These boys are launching themselves into the hearts of fans all across the world.
This is impressive. We know that loss is impressive, but the spotlight is slowly shifting over to Dragons Esports. I think if this run continues, if they do make it, I dare to say it right now, that they deserve a spot among the greats.
Okay, hell yeah, they most definitely do. But we all know how Champion Rush works, baby. The field is open for the play. Even the underdogs of the competition, all they need to do is just sneak into Point Rush, get into the grand finals, hit those 80 points, and walk away with a booyah to call themselves the champions of the Esports World Cup 2025. Free Fire dominance right here out of Brazil. The consistency is mind-blowing.
It is. I think for loss, they have more than proven enough to all of these rounds that they are the ones that has a very good chance of winning the whole thing and finishing the job from last year. But for Dragons Esports, keep your eyes on them, because 3 more rounds and we will find out if they do make history in top 12. We'll send it to a break and we'll be right back with more Free Fire action.
Quadra kill. Double kill. This land is calling.
ใครจะเป็นคนสั่งวันเนี้ยนี่ไม่ต้องเดี๋ยวปล่อยชุบเลือกไอเจลดีกว่า
มาไม่ต้องเถียงกันละเดี๋ยววันนี้เล่นเอง
Gelo, lança até gelo. Desce bomba lá, desce direito, vem comigo aqui. 61, 200.
Chupetão no gás,
W2. Boa, no meu pé, um.
Fiz esse cara aí.
Jogando aqui. Faz lógica, tem?
Correndo pra tu, Raoni. Miado aí.
Faz lógica, tem, general?
Não tem. Vem em mim os dois, deu meu. Vem, Raoni. Finalizando eu. Não clicou ainda. Clicando agora. Boa, caralho!
Vai tomar no cu, cara. Boa, porra.
It is all downhill here folks, because we have just passed the halfway mark for day 3 of Free Fire at EWC 25. And LOS secure the third booyah of the day, this time on Kalahari. Welcome to the very fluffy panel, folks. I hope you are enjoying the show, the matches, and obviously your very fluffy panelists. My analysts, we have a lot to talk about because that was a really calculative game of Free Fire. 10 minutes. We still had 12 teams. 48 players. Everyone played so slowly. Neptune, you got to break this down for me here because, I mean, why did everyone just suddenly slow down?
Yeah, it seems like they are going in for placement points first. So they don't want to be that aggressive. But we've seen a lot of aggressive gameplay. But at this point, especially in Kalahari, there's a lot of survivability factor. With that hook gun, you can get away as quickly as that and revive your teammates.
I think you're looking at this with rose-colored glasses, Neptune. This is ridiculous because Lost are honestly changing the game here. They're forcing teams into each other. They are taking so many elimination points, and God, cool guys don't look at explosions for a reason.
And not to mention, Lost, where are they on the leaderboard?
There you go. Well, currently they are rocking that #1 spot, not only in the match ranking, but also on the overall standing. And I love the performance of Lost in there. They were able to go for the backstab, and you did mention explosion. They just exploded. 15 Falcons has been wiped out quickly by Lost.
With that being said, though, 31 points by the end of this match. RQ just behind them, but I don't even think teams were expecting Lost to do this well, because that means in the overall rankings that puts them at #1. But at the same time, it's forcing teams to think about this game differently now. It's not about, hey, do we need to take our time? It's, can we make sure that Lost doesn't steamroll us, especially coming into that 4th and 5th ring?
Okay, I know we're highlighting LOS a little bit because they're at the top of the leaderboard. We gotta talk about the Dragons because they have been so consistent today. They placed top 3 in the first two matches, and then they come second in this one. What is going on with the Dragons?
Yeah, I guess they're just going into the basics right now. Survivability at its finest. They're not thinking about elimination, that much of elimination. And they just want to be in the top 3, if not grab that booyah. Currently in the knockout stage, this is their 4th instance of being in the top 3. So I guess this is their road to be on the top 12 overall. And guess what? AG Global and Dragons are currently tied.
I think the process of which they have figured out not only rotations, but most importantly, their landing spot and their recovery has significantly improved from the previous day, allowing them to consistently get into the top 3.
I'm just trying to think here, right? Is this maybe a case of Dragons just doing their homework? Because I feel like if you're going to play this consistency, you clearly have to have some level of knowledge over your opponents.
Yeah, it seems like it, because I was talking with analysts from the Arab side, and there is discussion that they have been studying not only the entirety of those in EWC, but also those in Southeast Asia. So there's a possibility that the movement, the rotation has been followed overall, and halfway through, they're just going in for the placement. We might see a lot more elimination later on.
I think at this point, maybe people have been underestimating their homework, but at the end of the day, I think the Dragons Esports are, in the famous words of Goofy himself, just yucking great.
And it's only a way up from here because we still have 3 more games. It's not done yet. So if the Dragons keep going like this, they're going to basically guarantee their way in top 12. I mean, Neptune, are Dragons guaranteed top 12 yet, or are they still kind of looking rocky here for points?
Yeah, they're still on the edge right now, and they need to maintain those placement points, even add a lot more of elimination. But they're very close on taking out hot shots and bringing them to the top, away from the top 12. So I guess they're close, but still no cigar.
I think that teams at least need to start thinking about these last couple of maps, because we've seen in these past 2 days that once we get into the last leg of the race, desperation starts to become very important, and more importantly, so the points that you can get from being desperate, fighting early, fighting into the mid game, they got to start cutting off the fat. Like, how, Neptune, you got to cut that fanny pack off. What is this, 2010?
Wow, thanks, Gideon. So just a quick update for our overall ranking. So as you can see at the very top, we have Lost EVOS with 163 points, and they have a humongous lead over the remaining teams playing in groups A and C, because EVOS and Core Memory, they finished their games. They're not playing today. So essentially, the rival team is Team Falcons, but this is 30 points, gentlemen. 30-point gap between these two teams.
I think with the 30-point gap, what everybody needs to look at is on that second page, 12 all the way down to 15. Because if any one of those teams, except for Alpha 34, also achieve that 30-point lead, that means everybody else is not going to progress as far, allowing that top 12 to be more achievable.
One thing that's unfortunate though, Virtus Pro previously, before the day started, they were in 13. And only a few more points and they could have crossed over, but they failed miserably in 2 matches, and it's still happening. So, not quite sure what's happening with Virtus Pro, but hopefully they can recover. But that would mean that Dragon Esports will be pushed out.
Okay, so I also saw on the right side of that ranking, I saw Buriram's name. Now, the question that even though they're over there, how many points are they sitting on? Are they... Okay, this is going to be such a crazy question. What are the odds of Buriram falling out of top 12?
Well, it seems, or it looks like they are doing so, but we all know Buriram. They won't let it go, and when it matters, they will be getting all those points. It just so happened in this instance, they went in for engagement a little bit early, so it's tough to call if this is really a play for them.
Well, I think we got to cool the stage off a little bit, because we did have a bit of a sweaty match just now on Kalahari. So it looks like we're ready to fly into Alpine Survivors. Gonna throw over to our casters right now as we get ready for game number 4.
Thank you very much, panel and Deadly. This is exciting because the top 12 places right now look so tight. Currently in 12th and 13th place, AGAL alongside DRG, both at 79 points. It could be anyone's game, but to be even more secure, you want to try and overcome teams such as Hotshots right now.
Yeah, Hotshot, they are slowly relegating themselves to be under the top 12 threshold. And for the teams that is within that threshold, they have to be careful, because we are left with only 3 matches here for Group A and also C. This 12th team definitely need to pump up more in their game. So we're going to move into Alpine here for game number 4. After that booyah from loss and aggressive gameplay here by the Brazilian team, I could believe that maybe loss could again surprise us with an amazing game.
Yeah, Lost look really good. 3 booyahs throughout the entirety of the days they've been playing here. They're aggressive, they are hot. Raoni is playing incredibly well. And there are so many situations where you thought they were at the back foot. They had lost 2 players already. Then what? They bring the players back in. The recovery is incredible on Bermuda this morning.
Yeah, now we're looking at Alpine. We are looking at drop spots of the players, but it looks like we might have a scuffle here in Snowfall as R7 and Buriram are dropping at the same place. Bounty has been placed on a Virtus Pro Diamond by, I believe it's by RRQ. So with that said, RRQ now sort of have information regarding the position of Virtus Pro. Meanwhile, we are now panning on towards Snowfall. As I said, it's Rainbow 7 and Buriram. However, on River Mouth, Dragons and Red Hawks are at it right now.
As heck right now as DRG. They're going aggressive. Kutush falls Blade as well. And Blade can't even be recovered anymore. For now, they have to find a way to get themselves back into this game. But DRG 3 already. And this is a great start for them. I glazed them on the stage earlier for a good reason. This is a team out of nowhere. Just gone completely nuclear and taking down so many big names.
A short run here for Red Hawks. The last member was finally found. It was found by Motovia from Pain Gaming, as Motovia is on that lighthouse tower, encompassing the whole area of River Mouth, looking at Team Dragons right now. He's being so careful not to actually release any kind of shot, despite being in a position where it's hard for Dragon to execute here, even for Motovia to go down.
So with that said, Motiva tried his best. Carlos goes down towards Rima. Rima now on the floor. Manages to collect another point here for Pain Gaming. Motiva doing a lot of work for Pain Gaming in the early stages of the match.
They're looking to break some hearts and break some dreams because DRG, while they're hot, they are currently on the back foot in terms of bodies. So the best way is just go for, for cover. And the same thing could be said about Falcons because they are here not to play. They're getting here for names and also kills. But Pain Gaming are rallying. They get the kills. DRG, one more member falls here, but for Pain, they try their best to get those pickups. But Falcons, Peter, he's aggressive. There's a reason why he is one of the #1 decorated players on this team, and he has taken the first pickup for the team, and they're looking to find a different way to eliminate Pain from this game.
So Gus tried to fly himself away from Falcons, but apparently the Falcon managed to swoop him away in midair. So there is only Motivia left, and Motivia doing work towards Team Dragons. He managed to secure 4 elimination for this Brazilian team, all alone with that car and also Woodpecker. Oh, such a unique setup here by Motivia, using the glue wall and also the mini jump pad right on top to gain elevation and a good angle to actually go towards Forest Raid. So main job here for Motovia, he has to revive the others.
You want to be able to do that as well. I mean, you saw they had a bit more advantage in terms of their cover and positioning as well, but Falcons did a great job of rallying and being able to break through those defensives, running in as a 2-2 to be able to just really push them outside into the open arms for his teammates. And I think that Falcons, while they have been a bit more quiet, they are here today to just really solidify their lead.
Pain Gaming is back. Motovia managed to actually revive everyone back. Meanwhile, a little bit of a scuffle here in Rai as AGAL spotted on Olympus scouring around the same area. Rai is a very open space area. They have to actually close in their gap. Meanwhile, Noki was knocked by View on the backside. That they have to take refuge in that arsenal. Noki again on the floor, this time alongside Adam. And Onyx Olympus not looking so good. They have to fly away, and indeed they did. So the remaining members tried to exit. Only one member actually exited as Zyro was left here to handle AGAL all alone. Varus tried to break as much wall as possible with the Groza in hand. And Zyro managed to find cover for the current time being. He had space, but sadly Dew found his back and Zyro goes down.
It's just a terrible position to be in when you have no clue where the AGL members are. And the AGL realizing that they have to really struggle to earn their spot into that top 12 just really fuels them further. Now they have, all the, armory, they have the upgraded weapons, and I think this would really increase their firepower, give them an upper advantage to be able to get all those frags, to be able to solidify themselves into some points in terms of kills, in terms of positioning as well.
Alright, we might see another Falcon and Pain Gaming interaction here, this time on Rivermouth. Here is a short replay from Rainbow 7 where we could not actually report it for you guys, and Rainbow 7 manages to actually control Buriram. It looks like Buriram has to exit the vicinity instead. And now we're looking at Falcon again. We're about to see whether or not Falcon repeats their match against Pain. They had a very good run earlier where Pain was left with Motovia to do all the revive, but apparently Pain manages to actually find a route to fall back, but Gus has been spotted by Falcons.
Yeah. Falcons, they're ever watching, eyes like a hawk, if you want to say it. Gus gets backstepped here. His teammate wants to pick him up, but I don't think that Keroro is going to allow him that space to be able to do so. A lot of pressure going toward him as well. And Peter cannot do a lot to help his teammates in this situation. And as for Falcons, they're understanding that in this dire situation, the best course of action is to take a little bit more space.
Pina tries to actually do some suppressed fire towards Team Pain Gaming, but knowing that they are quite far apart against each other, so Falcon decides to actually just maybe find another thing to do here in Rivermouth, maybe find some resources that are lacking in the team. But it looks like Pina was aimed at, I think Pain Gaming, Pain Gaming from the minimap. It looks like they are trying to engage on towards Team Falcons. Meanwhile, the first zone is about to close. There's a few teams still outside of the zone. Example, Buriram, AGAL, and also Lost. Dragons resetted back their team. However, they are currently being bountied by another team in our Alpine, and it looks like the circle has updated, putting Sunside as the middle point.
Interestingly enough, that southern side is such a heavy point of contention. So many teams rotating over, which means we're going to see some bloody fights coming from there. Virtus Pro, I think they can chill for now as the rest of Onyx are looking for a slower and later rotation as they try to bring themselves back into this game. And I say bring themselves back into the game is such an important thing for them because you want to be able to make sure that you have a bit more space to work with. Your teammates are able to get back into the game safely and you're able to rendezvous together to move together as a unit.
All right, we're looking at Vision System SP. They had 2 good games actually, despite currently being in the lower part of the overall table. They still have that hope to try to get to the top 12, trying to cut off teams from AGAL as well as Dragons. If they could actually get 3 more good games with good placement and elimination points, even with a booyah, we could see another Latam team proceeding towards the point rush stage. Meanwhile, we're looking at RRQ happily camping at boot camp. Again, this is also a base camp, sorry. This is also another vicinity within the midpoint of our new zone. And Mal equipping with the AWMY. High damage, high caliber. Sadly could not go through glue walls. Only the M8-2B could do that, but still a very scary weapon to be facing against.
I'm looking at DRG's rotation right now from southern side. This is a very scary rotation because they are currently right against the zone, and most importantly, if they do break into that circle, there's Falcons waiting for them. There's AGAL waiting for them, and that's the worst part because AGAL and DRG are currently on that same amount of points. They need to both be able to kind of like break each other to be able to earn their spot into that top 12, and it's really scary, especially when you're up against a team like Falcons.
Another potential team going to point rush, Movie Star Rainbow 7. Playing it slow, does not enter the zone early. From Railroad, it looks like they are opt to go to Carousel. But the thing about playing in Carousel is that there is a body of water, so if they were to play around near that water, it could prove detrimental. Meanwhile, again, another team has entered base camp. This time around, it is Virtus Pro. Yet to get an elimination point in our game right here. They are side by side with Team Falcons as well as Team Vision System. Meanwhile, Lost just exited Rivermouth.
You know, I think the panel had that question just now, will Buriram United actually make it to that top 12? Can they actually, maintain that point to be able to secure themselves here? And, I think the panel had a good, indication of saying, yeah, it's Buriram United. You don't really have to worry about them too much. They're explosive. Right. They can start the day strong. They can still get enough, enough points to just maintain that top 12. And then suddenly in the point rush, in the champions rush, they hit the ground running. But in this situation where so many teams are this competitive, how long are you going to be just sitting on that back foot? Are you not going to try show a bit more of the competitiveness, or are you just going to just do the bare minimum here?
I believe the bare minimum would be the least effort they could put for Buriram United, because judging from the points that they have, they are at high percentage to proceed to the next stage. Same goes to Lost right now. We're looking
points,
at them.
Yes.
Yeah, same for Lost right now. They are quite how can I say, comfortable to be current, being as they have sufficient points to be proceeding towards the point rush stage. And again, this is the airdrop brought to you by STC. Okay, very nice. I'm not so sure what's inside, but I believe this is a golden airdrop, so maybe either a Groza or AWM inside. Now we're looking at the Vantage Bridge where Dragons reside. Awaiting them in front is AGAL, but they are going to use that mini jump pad to try to go to front. And Dragons awaiting the new zone. And talking about the zone, those who are inside are actually right smack in the middle. Falcons, Virtus Pro, and also I believe only one member of Team Onyx Olympus. Therefore, the team that is in the middle of the zone will try to kick peep. Meanwhile, RRQ and R7.
Yeah, very aggressive coming for RQ here. They're hot off that win this morning. They've done the rituals, and it's working out very well as R7 just crumble. Games King falls as well. The rest of RQ just taking their time, moving together as a unit. They've gotten 2 members of R7 already, and they can now chill. They're playing at the side of the zone here. The rest of R7 forced out there, back in the open, into the zone again. And this is the question. What are you going to do here? You have a vehicle. Yes, you have to go for a longer rotation for sure, but time is ticking.
He's trying to adjust the vehicle. Yeah, you could reverse, Hux. You could reverse the vehicle. All right, Hux has a vehicle. However, he's now all alone. Not much coin for him to revive at least one person. So his only option is either to survive or trying to find maybe a respawn platform. But sadly, the current circle does not provide him that option. So Hux has to play alone. And meanwhile, we're looking RRQ flying towards the base camp, trying to get to the center point of the new zone. Meanwhile, Pain Gaming blasted bullets onto his team Lost, but at the same time being disturbed by one lone member of Onyx Olympus. And Lost is looking at AGL.
Lost is looking hot. If you ask me, the southern side where they're holding completely open, they have this scoped weapon as well to allow them to go for these long-range fights, but the fights that are long-range are taken away by Dew, as Hux eventually does fall to Onyx, in fact, who has placed himself out there in the open. But for the rest of AGL, they're stuck here. The zone's pushing, they're stuck literally between a rock and a hard place. As Rigby finds that first pick-off, Sypha falls, has to recover, can't do that. The glue walls are just falling so easily, melted right now, taking so much damage. Barros as well, the numbers are dwindling, and AGL don't seem to have an idea how exactly to recover from this situation. Dew alone here, and now the members have followed a double kill for this guy who's putting in so much pressure. AGL falls, and I think for DRG, this could be the holy or the hallelujah moment they needed.
Under the mercy of Team Lost goes down AGL. The next thing you know, Dragons as well on 9th place. Lost yet again. Shoving bullets this time on towards RRQ. With the M249, definitely the weapon of choice of taking down barriers as well as glue walls. So Lost controlling RRQ, forcing them to be inside of the building. Meanwhile, Onyx Adam is following Virtus Pro all on his own, and Adam finally got caught, but RRQ does with the grenade managed to get a triple, I believe, as Adam and two members of Virtus Pro have been eliminated. Exposy and Diamond has to run away. Exposy has to tank the snow grenade a little bit, and there you go. Onyx has been eliminated at 8th place, and now Chaos is upon them near base camp.
Because this hard shift is making everyone fight for that spot. But RQ is doing phenomenal in terms of positioning, in terms of style of play. They have already 10 eliminations at this 5th circle, and they are still going on here. They just found the members of BRU as well, taken them down, and now they're on a rampage. Who else do you want to go for? They set their eyes onto Lost, puts a bit of chip damage, but not enough. But still, they don't have the zone. They have to rush forward. But because Pain and Lost are on this fight here, Pain is just going super aggressive. Rahoni falls, and RQ are happy to take this space away from the rest, who are later to rotate into the circle, but they're not dead because Falcons is here to stop them.
Falcon taking down RRQ one by one, but no Dukes with the grenade launcher, taking down the last member of the Falcons. Now it's just RRQ and Pain Gaming, but Pain Gaming has the help, has the number. Only Dukes left alone, running for his life in one particular spot, and Motavia awaiting for that blue wall to go down. Only Dudes remaining between Pain Gaming and that second Booyah in EWC. Dudes trying to control the car together with Gus, but Gus bringing him out. Motavia secures the kill, and that is Booyah for Pain Gaming.
Valiant effort for RQ Dudes. He really delayed the inevitable. Tried his best to at least get a point or two before things went wrong. And you know what, Pain? Yeah, talk that smack talk, because honestly, you guys deserved it. Another booyah for them today. Not today, but in this particular week. And it looks so good. They're very methodical in terms of their rotations. They're very quick on the ball when it comes to rotations as well. It looked as though RQ had the W, if you ask me. But Pain Gaming decided, no, I can change the chains of destiny.
What a good run here for Pain Gaming on the last few moments of the game. You can see them taking down Lost and a saving grace, as well as Falcons fighting off against RRQ, where in that particular Scowl, it was RRQ that come on top. However, due to the fact that members of RRQ has been eliminated by Team Falcon, that gave room for Pain Gaming to do their booyah moment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, right after this, we are going to go to the stage with Carol for a very interesting interview. So, ladies and gentlemen, again, booyah at Alpine for Pain Gaming from Brazil, and that is their second booyah for EWC. So, let's go off to Carol on stage.
Thanks so much, guys. You have been doing a great work today. And so far, it was only match 4, and we have watched enough here today for the Brazilian teams. Another booyah from Pain Gaming, but right now we gotta talk with the Lowe's team, especially with this guy here that has overcome even Evil's team. Wow. I have actually some stats to share with you because you have the most eliminations overall among us all the 3 groups, and your team has beaten Evils in terms of damage. So for sure, you have been doing a great job here today, Raoni. But right now, it feels like you guys are looking for a redemption against Team Falcons on AWC 24. How does it feel right now, seeing like you have been on the farm to take the champions during the title, the champions title during the finals? Raoni, já trouxe algumas informações aqui que vocês estão ultrapassando o time da Evils, principalmente nos danos, né? E você tem as maiores eliminações dos 3 grupos até agora, mas obviamente que não dá para esquecer que no ano passado vocês ficaram no top 3, né? No antigo time da Netshoes Miners, e agora vocês estão voltando aí atrás dessa redenção, com certeza para cima do time da Team Falcons. Quero saber como é que tá o sentimento agora, depois disso tudo que eu compartilhei com você, que eu imagino que é muita coisa.
Ano passado nosso estilo de jogo era diferente, eu jogava mais pra safe e tal. E nosso time esse ano, 2025, tá bem mais forte. Começamos o ano mal, mas depois nós foi campeão brasileiro e conseguiu classificar pro Mundial. E o nosso estilo de jogo tá muito bom, atrasado, só rushando. Um estilo de jogo que eu gosto muito, nosso time gosta muito, que é mais rushado do que ser rushado, que é bem mais fácil, né? Mas nós estamos muito confiantes e é isso.
Okay, so basically it's a mix of feelings because last year we had a totally different game style going on. Actually, we also have a different roster. Only 3 players remain on the team. But right now we feel way more confident to be here. On the very beginning of the year, we still had a lot of mistakes to be fixed, but we overcome. We won Free Fire World Series Brazil, and we came here as a champion of Brazil, and we are here for sure, very confident to take the trophy. And right now, I want to know your expectations for the rest of the day, because you guys have done so much here. You got booyahs yesterday, you got another booyah today, and for sure, I would like to know if your main goal is to finish as the best team of the day. Com certeza vocês estão fazendo uma campanha incrível aqui no EWC. Essa só é a fase classificatória, o último dia da fase classificatória, e eu quero saber suas maiores expectativas e se também seu objetivo é terminar em primeiro lugar aqui, como não só no topo de tabela, mas melhor time do dia.
Isso é um objetivo nosso, terminar como o primeiro time do dia e melhor da tabela também. E as expectativas estão melhor, manter sempre o pé no chão e sempre o mesmo estilo de jogo, com a confiança lá em cima, e é isso, e amassar.
Tem algum recado pro Brasil?
Recado pro Brasil que nós vamos amassar, se Deus quiser, nós vai ser campeão.
Perfect. So he basically said their confidence of the team is just rising up. After matches and matches, they have set a new strategy to be here today, and it's only the knockout stage, but they are seeking, they are thirsty for the trophy, and they will not allowed to come back to Brazil without the trophy. And that's all, my friends. We have watched great actions on Free Fire today. Today is the last day of knockout stage, and there's still a lot more to come, and I'm excited to be part of this. All right, so let's go for a quick break, and we will be right back here with more action for Free Fire at AWC 2025.
Double kill. Rampage. stage. Killing spree. Killing spree.
What is up, folks? Welcome to What's in the Bowl at Free Fire Esports World Cup 2025. I'm your host, Husky, and today I have two gentlemen with me on the couch from Virtus Pro. Welcome to the show. I want to quickly explain the rules, quick and simple. There are two bowls of this sort on the table, which the players will draw from. Plenty of notes inside. When they draw the notes, they will have to read it, hide it from their partners, and have them guess what it is. They could use audio cues, they could do actions, they could do anything they want. So, are we ready? Take your draw. Don't show him. What have you got?
ปืนไฮไลท์เก่าปืนสายไฮไลท์เก่าสองยาว M104 ใช่ปืนถ่ายไฮไลท์เมื่อก่อนเลยแมปใหญ่อะที่แมปใหญ่เล่นกันอะใช่แบน12ใช่
Yes, correct. The SPAS 12. Okay, good job. Number 1 point for you. Now it's your turn.
ปืนสไนเปอร์ AWM ไม่ใช่บาเลตไม่ใช่คา98ถูกต้อง ที่กูถือทุกเกมเวลาเปิดคลังแจคลังที่กูถือทุกเกมเวลาเข้าไปในคลังไว้เป็นฮิว
Killing pistol. Okay, so pew pew pew.
วาดแป๊บแมปทะเลทรายปืนสลิง
Congratulations, we have a tie, but we need a tiebreaker. Rock, paper, scissors.
ต้องคือเปล่าต้อง
And we have a winner. Yay. Right, since this is called What's in the Bowl, I have one more thing in the bowl for you guys. You ready? Ready to know what it is? It is. Good luck, VP. Good luck for EWC. And that's all for What's in the Bowl. And I'll see you guys in the next one.
Hi everyone, it's Yunsul and we are here at the Esports World Cup 2025 Boulevard. Very lively here. The gaming district, place for you to enjoy esports. But the most special thing about here is the food. Southern region dishes, all of the regional dishes, food. Who doesn't love food? Because I am. So I hope you guys will enjoy the moment on the camera. But if you can, please come here and share the fun with us right here at Esports World Cup 2025 Boulevard.
Tropa, deixa o moto matar. Não, vai matar. Deixa o moto matar o último. Eu vou salvar, deixa o moto, fica na boa, Pet. Só mata o último, mano. Mata. Ô, porra, sem bala. Relaxa, fica na boa. Quer Oscar, alguma coisa? Faz esse sigilo aí, força esse sigilo aí. Verde, dá uma tira. Vamos na panela. Mas não mata. Não mata, Pet. Fica na boa. No carro. Vou pegar o carro pra ele não pegar. 650 nele. Tem que pegar aqui, vai pro gás. Matei, porra. 10 kills. Vai, porra. Você, caralho. Você, bate, porra.
Pain Gaming show us pain by securing the 4th booyah today on Alpine. RRQ so close yet so far, and unfortunately no back-to-back booyahs for any of these teams as of yet, but we did have a off-camera discussion about this, Gideon. Pain Gaming needed that booyah and now they picked up the bunch of points. Is Pain safe? Are they feeling safe now? Or are they still on the verge of maybe having a bit of an instability moment?
Well, I think, two things that are going really well for Pain Gaming as of right now. The second half of the maps is something that they've, shown us on day number 1 that, hey, we can actually get a good amount of elimination points on top of placement points no matter the map. So that consistency is always great. Second of all, the fact is they're breaking into top 12s pretty easily. I think they are relatively secure. I mean, Neptune, you can fact check me on this one because, again, this is based all off of gut feeling.
Yeah, I mean, they have breached the 130 mark that we keep talking about. So, yeah, currently 5th. And then also that final 5v5 or 4v4, it also brought RRQ to top 6. They have breached it in with 131 points. So I guess for these two teams, despite of RRQ not getting that booyah, I think they're in a safe spot.
So it seems like these teams, they are locking in their spots here for that championship weekend. But very quickly though, we do have our match ranking for the game that has just concluded. And RRQ, you know, even though they didn't get the booyah, they still topped the charts there with the most points thanks to those eliminations. But of course, eliminations, those are just as important as those booyah points. So RRQ, Pain Gaming, locking in their spots. Team Falcons, I mean, they're going to be happy with themselves as well, right? Just grabbing up some more points, climbing up higher and higher on that leaderboard. But to be fair, if you're up there, you kind of don't need the points. It's just kind of to say, well, I'm up here on that leaderboard. But we're not done. We are not done yet. We still have 2 more games to go, and we still have teams that are vying for those points to make it to top 12. So what are we looking at on that leaderboard? Where is the danger zone? Like, are we looking at maybe like 10th place until 14th, 9th until 11th? Like, where we kind of going here?
Well, judging from the numbers, those that is very close at 100 spot, which is 106. That is where Fluxo is. So them together with Movistar R7 and Buriram United is in that bubble. But unfortunate for Fluxo though, they have no say in it. They won't be playing for today, so Movistar R7 as well as Buriram United will be able to move up.
I mean, it's not within their control, but I'm looking at it, and honestly, it's getting pretty tight, right? If we're looking at specifically 12 on top of 13, AGAL, and as well as Dragon Esports, they are neck and neck. 2 points difference between those two teams, and they're trying to overtake Hotshot Esports at 87, which they should be able to do in the next 2 maps, but there's still the possibility of Virtus Pro, if they come up with huge numbers in these games, like let's say 30 points each on either map, I think they can just shoot right up in the standings and knock one of these teams out.
And hopefully this is the time, because Virtus Pro, they failed in the first 2 maps. 3rd map still failing, so it's very difficult to say if they'll be able to bring it. And like it might be I would say, hanging in there on the top 12. Very close, I would say, based on calculation and performance. So hopefully they bring it on the remaining maps.
All right, gentlemen, it looks like we're almost ready to jump into our 5th map of the day. But before that, though, it looks like our casters are on the main stage. What's happening, casters?
4 games done, 2 more to go. Husky, time is running out, buddy.
It is running out, and you can hear the echoes, the cheers, the screams, the support, primarily from our returning champions, Team Falcons. Yeah. Falcons, let me hear your noise, Team Falcons!
And it's not just about Falcons. We've got Indonesia in the house as well. Indonesia, make some noise!
Great stuff so far. Love the energy, love the atmosphere. Atmosphere is electric, but not just Indonesia. Because supporters from the Middle East, Dragon Esports! Oh, here we go.
Oh, the retaliation
That's a rivalry.
coming back. So it looks like Falcons wants to make a little bit more noise. But if you hear from Gideon, we've got our Bangladeshi boys in the house as well. Red Hawks, make some noise, baby!
Yes, that's what we like. But if there's one thing that everyone in the stadium can agree on, Free Fire fans, make some noise!
And that's what it's all about. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are going to be throwing it on over to our casters. 2 more games. Let's see who survives the knockout stage.
All right, Hotshot, AGAL, Dragons, Virtus Pro, and as well as Onyx Olympus. This is the 5 teams that are currently close with each other within the relegation zone. Sadly for Alpha 34, due to the fact that they have completed their games, they could not actually qualify to the Point Rush stage. So what's your take, Tashmani?
It's so funny looking how neck and neck AGAL and Dragon Esports
are. By 2 points.
Yeah, by 2 points. It's just crazy stuff. I thought that, you know, the point disparity would be a bit more, especially since last game, you know, AGAL was eliminated a little bit earlier, but no, they're still very much both in the red zone. Now coming into this one, I think, what, 2 more maps to go, things are getting hot. Things are looking very, very scary for these teams. And meanwhile, for teams who are at the top, a little bit more, I would say, very safe in terms of their points. Buriram United over at 10th. So Hotshot Esports, AGAL, Dragons Esports, could be anyone's game.
Yeah, true. Buriram, though, in 10th place is quite shaky here with only 13 points discrepancy between Hotshot. But Hotshot is not playing, so maybe the rivalry is between AGAL and Dragons. And right now we are in next era. Whether or not these teams that we have mentioned could actually improve here, because anything can happen in the world of Free Fire. As you can see, Lost has managed to actually gain 2 elimination points. I believe they are fighting against Team Falcons right around Rustown. So we just have to see. General has been eliminated by Pina. That was just the recent thing that we could see in our match. But sadly, Falcons, they had to sacrifice 2 of their members on towards Team Lost. Meanwhile, Lost, you can see that empty Sexy, very sexy here, has managed to revive those who has fallen.
2 for 2. Fair enough. But the fight's not done. Pina will be the next one to fall. Haone today has been really sharp, very adept, very aware. And I think for him in particular, in terms of eliminations, in terms of being able to play that first contact play, I think because the players of Lost are just so individually brilliant, they're allowed to just really roam around away from each other. They're allowed to take up space alone and without really worrying or needing too much support for their teammates. And if push comes to shove, the rotations that come through have been great.
All right. You can see on the kill feed, we see on the Olympus, we see Rainbow 7 and Dragons as well. Currently in Twin Towers, you can see that Rainbow 7, Twin Bridge, I'm sorry, is slowly getting one by one members of Team Dragons. The MENA team is now being chased away. Seafox is under fire, had to pull down the glue wall. Yase, in the meantime, trying to find space for him to escape. Seafox has been found by Deya with the XMA, but Joker on Yase! Oh no! That is for Dragon Esports. They have been eliminated by Rainbow 7 on 12th place.
And this is just music to AGAL's ears to be able to just really solidify their lead and leave DRG with the back foot here. I mean, there is that solace knowing that there is that one more map, but there is that question as well. How far can AGAL go this map? How big will the lead be? And how much damage can they do here? Because AGAL has proven to us time and time again, they can do incredible damage to other teams. They can farm those kills as well. And in terms of rotations, they can be just as aggressive as teams such as Lost, and Falcons, even Pain and RQ.
Yeah, again, a solace here for AGAL as Dragons has been eliminated with 0 points. Meanwhile, Deya again trying to add points for Rainbow 7. A little bit slow on towards Zairu here. Manages to actually take a glue wall down. However, Noki and Adam was caught off guard, entering Intellect Center into the mouth of the remaining members of Rainbow 7. With that said, R7 right now on fire with 6 elimination points.
R7 seems to get hot very, very early in the game, and it's really devastating if you allow them to really take the momentum. As Buriram United will be the one to struggle, face up against this team that is super hot right now. Currently at 10th, Buriram United has had the best of games, but they are currently trying to see whether or not they can come to the top. They want to challenge R7, but they aren't in the best position to do so. They are in a disadvantage in terms of positioning as well, trying to play together as a team. And off angle could be huge here, but Wasana not able to land that crucial shot.
R7 meeting in their ground. They opt to fall back just a little bit to provide space between them and Buriram. However, Buriram calculating the position of their team members, trying to circle around this Intellect Center. However, to no avail. Rainbow has fallen back. Buriram is doing the same thing as well. Meanwhile, for Pain Gaming, it looks like some shots were upon them. However, they, again, similar to our teams in Intellect Center, has to reroute their journey back towards, I believe this is Deca Square, with the pink flowers on the ground. And on Deca Square, from what I can see, there's no one there, so it is safe for Pain Gaming to try to reset and regroup.
A lot of movement. Onyx already very happy to it from Topia, just chilling there. I think this is just side by side with another team as well. I believe it's Red Hawks over in the same vicinity here. But most First of all, I think most teams just don't really want to take these early fights. Everyone started to be, nope, spoke too soon there. Redhawks and Onyx finally committing to this fight. But the same thing could be said about Virtus Pro and RRQ, with RRQ taking the more aggressive approach, taking up so much space already, rushing forward, extending it. But RRQ undeterred, they have a player all the way in the backside to play this long-range support as well. Nice shot onto Benjum, but not enough to take him down. So for the time being, RRQ, VP happy to play a little bit more passive and just play together as Team Diamond. Ate a lot of damage here, but this is a sign for Abai to just rush forward. Not enough to get the knockdown. He rushes through, gets more damage onto a Diamond, but still not enough to get the shot. Some nades thrown out. Blue wall set up to set them up for success as well. And the rest of VP, they're saying, no, not today, dog. We are just skedaddling out of here. But Boon Jim not able to run away with this life. The same could be said by Exposy and Diamond as well. Because we have Pain Gaming here as well, trying to join in on that fight. Abai is chasing right now. Gets another point to his name. And RRQ with 3, happy with that. And saying, okay, let's not pursue this. Pain, you can have that slot.
Nice push by RRQ, forcing Virtus Pro to flee back towards Deca Square where Pain Gaming reside. Now with enemy inside, RRQ and Pain Gaming is at it together near Deca Square. You can see from the southern side of the map, lasers are being pointed out by both Pain Gaming and RRQ. And the update from the new zone, you can see that it encompasses Zipway, Boxing Gym, as well as a little bit of Mudside. Meanwhile, RRQ Dudes, who has been decimated by Pain Gaming. However, there is a small trade by RRQ as well by taking down Motovia.
So some long-range pickoffs as well through that kill feed. Right, as players are coming back into the game, no problem for Pain at least to bring Motovia back in here. But the southern side is still very, very aggressive, with Lost coming into the fray as well, getting 2 members of RRQ. RRQ here is scary because they are a team that's sandwiched between both Pain and Lost. These are 2 very, very strong teams. Kiba and Dudes, I think they're separating here. Dudes going for a longer a little longer rotation away. Means that Lost is going to try and find their way to just really dwindle down those numbers. Knows that Kiba is close. Every point is so precious! But RRQ changed the trajectory of everything. A double kill already happening. Kiba playing a bit of a ring around the rosy. Jump shots about here, but Lost this time were ready to receive.
RRQ not in a good spot here. Dirts has to be revived twice after he tried to land in Mudside, but then again has been eliminated by Team Lost. So for RRQ, they really need to re-strategize. And look, talking about RRQ, now Mal is in a predicament. Whether or not should he fight Pain Gaming Peter or should he try to fall back? But it looks like the first option is the one he chosen, and he has fallen. 6 points here for Pain Gaming with Motovia and Peter still alive. Pain Gaming prolongs the fight, prolongs their survivability.
Without that, I mean, Pain Gaming, despite being on the back foot, less bodies to work with, they're still as aggressive. They're playing like nothing else matters. End of the day, you make it into, you know, the point rush, you make it to the grand finals. They're very comfortable forward. What do we have to lose? Let's just go all out today. And the team that's currently on fire is Falcons. I have to say, for them, these late rotations, these late fights have been doing them so much value. But for VSE, this is an interesting situation because they had a terrible, first day. Coming into today as well, the first half was just dismal. And then suddenly it felt like the third eye opened and the momentum fell into their laps. And they're slowly but surely trying to claw their way back into the top. But it's not going to be an easy feat.
That's true. Vision for today had 2 games with good placements point, but sadly not enough as elimination is quite minuscule. Right now, as you can see, they are again playing the placement point strategy, playing right around the line of the new zone, avoiding teams early on and playing it super safe, looting maybe extra boxes that is around, but still, again, avoiding conflict with any players in our map. Meanwhile, on the kill feed, you can see Red Hawks managed to actually get a point from Pain Gaming, eliminating one of their members. And Falcons still within near the outside zone is struggling to actually enter the new one. Meanwhile, AGAL comfortably found a spot here near Boxing Gym.
Circle shift once again. with teams such as Onyx as well as R7 already very comfortable with a nice space to work with. AGL playing by the side of the zone could potentially slowly become the gatekeeper if they choose to be. We'd love to see what's going on over there over to AGAL. It's not a bit more active here, but the same could be said about LOS loss. There we go, AGL from the compound here trying their best to shoo away R7. Yeah, R7 has a bit more space to work with, but they don't necessarily have the numbers as well. It's only one member left alive, but I have to say that there's a lot of respect given here toward Games King. They don't want to get isolated. They don't want to be put in a position where they're giving him this isolated 1v1s.
Oh, found.
You was just whatever micro angle he played. He is sharp, man.
I wish you could get a POV of you on how did he get that pixel shot onwards Games King. But yep, then again, R7, last remaining member, was eliminated, and that is it for R7 here. 10th place in next Terra. Meanwhile, RHK or Red Hawks from Bangladesh managed to actually knock down Moshi. That is a huge elimination by the team. And Red Hawks really needs the point right now, as they are quite far from the 12th spot zone. I believe around 14 points. So they really need to do a lot of work. Maybe aiming for a booyah this time around, as they are still yet to get that achievement. Meanwhile, Buriram finds solace or finds safety in the arsenal nearby. However, there is as well Onyx Olympus. Meanwhile, Ping Gaming is yet to enter our new zone. Oh, Gus goes down.
That's a nasty shot to Gus. It's a very painful place to be in as well. Gate kept out of the zone with so much pressure coming toward you. Knocked down already here by the play zone, but Lost take this as a situation where they can go a bit more aggressive and just really rally to take this space away. They're stuck in a corner here with VSE running for their lives. They're separated away at least 3-1, but with Red Hawks rushing forward, they're trying to see whether or not they can win this fight. You have Pain also coming through, but Motovea somehow knocks himself down, and that is an unlucky situation. The same could be said about Noda X as well. What is going on here? Pain gaming out, but the fight still continues as Blade tries to find that nice opportunistic angle, weaving in and out of that chrono zone. Finds nothing quite yet, but VSE, they're playing this angle to perfection. Whoever that had encroached their space is the one to pay the blood fee.
Red Hawks jumps in to try to execute Team Vision system, but sadly they are the ones being hunted down. On the other side of the map, it looks like Lost and Falcon face off against each other. It's going to be 3v3. Kiroro running low has to be knocked here. Pina really needs to get out from his own glue wall, trying to save Kiroro. Meanwhile, General and Ranu. Oh no, Ranu! Oh, Ranone. Sadly could not survive, and that is it for Lost. Limit. Surviving member for Falcons will try his best to continue the journey of the Green Hawks. But now EGAL might deny entry for Limit.
Honestly, I have to say, for Lost just now, they just got boxed in. It's just an unfortunate situation. And AGL, it felt like as soon as DRG were knocked out, they were like, yes, this is our gold opportunity. They felt really good. They're just aggressive right now. They have 5 eliminations. They're already here, all the way toward the 4th circle. Limit tries to rush through. He's still very much alive. I'm surprised that he's able to break it. In fact, getting a pick-off onto Cypher somehow. But that's not more. They can do that because Mal is not going to deny him that situation. Falcons eliminated at 6. But still, the rest of RRQ very, very happy with this news. They're on a rampage.
Meanwhile, Onyx, together with a Vision System and also Buriram, all in one tight spot near Mudside. EGAL has a lot of real estate to play with. They opt to try to go towards the team RRQ. Mal running quite low, goes down. Tiba as well, and that's it for RRQ. They are no more. Now it's up to Onyx from Indonesia to try to carry that Indonesian flag. However, there's only Zyro left hiding in the corner. And it looks like EGAL trying to assert dominance, securing position outside of Matsai, and this is not good for Vision System nor Buriram.
You gotta stop them. This is illegal. How do you just walk up and shoot someone in the face without anything? everything. Just so fearless right now. They've taken up so much space off that circle as well. Yeah, the circle is shifting, but if anyone tries to rotate out of the building, you know that AGL, will be ready to receive. VSE moving in tandem with the zone, and this is smart. They have put themselves so much cover to be able to rotate. Buram United, the same thing as well. Zyro, the only surviving member of Onyx here. What are you gonna do? I think AGL want to go on a hunt. I think they probably have a bit of idea where Zyro might be, but Zyro, he's being very sneaky right now. One wrong peek, and I'm pretty sure one member will fall from AGAL here, but the fights on the other end is starting to get hot.
Yeah, the glue wall that is standing in front of Zyro will be there for so long as it might melt. Yep, there you go. Zyro has no more glue wall. AGL instantly goes for that lone Indonesian, trapping him in the corner. And for AGAL, this is a pinnacle moment for them, as this could be the game that could secure them the point rush. Managed to find Zyro. That is 8 for AGAL. Onyx now on 4th place. We are left with Vision System, AGAL and Buriram. All three of them are quite far apart against each other, but Yu has AWM, has the long-range weapon to work with, and they are controlling Buriram.
Honestly, Buram United has a nice area of hell protection as well, but AGAL is also making it life hell for VSE right now because they're sandwiched between the two different areas. You hide on one end, you're gonna meet with another team here, but the zone is not particularly in favor of AGL. They gotta move right now. Out there in the open, they take a more aggressive approach. They want to rush forward to VSE, and I think VSE knows they're preparing themselves with the utilities, with the heals, with everything else in that kitchen sink. But AGL really taking their time here, understanding their predicaments.
Yeah, Vision System right now is actually being pinned between two Thailand teams, Buriram and AGAL. Will the Mexican team, representative from the Latin American region, survive this war? Trying to throw some utility on towards AGAL and also some towards Buriram. Lots of glue melters has been put down by Vision System. This allowing AGAL to stand behind cover, but from behind, Buriram putting down bullets, causing a member from Team Vision to be eliminated. Moshi gets the kill on towards Andre. Deal, spot tick, and she goes down. Cypher enters the fray, and they took down Vision one by one, and Latam is no more. It's now between Thai and Thai. AGAL and Buriram. Who will get this booyah? Buriram tries to go for the execution. AGAL on top. Cypher running quite low, and Cypher goes down. Batters could not provide the backup from the side. Batters has been blocked by their own teammates. Gluo. Deal goes down. Normal sniper, but get high. Turns for it, and now Joanna tried to work as much as he could to try to save his teammate, but he goes down as well. But Batters goes down. Now it's only up to T9. Would he be able to take down Buriram? It's gonna be 1v2. It's gonna be a golden clutch for T9. I'm sorry, 1v3. T9 facing us Moshi, but here comes Joanna. Here comes Get Higher. There you go. T9 goes down. No one is alive for you. Buriram, second booyah. EWC 25.
Buram United really need this pick-me-up. They were very quiet this last few games here. But I have to say, quiet or not, they were a team that were quietly collecting points, still making their way up to the top 8 right now, at least on the overall rankings. They look good, they're aggressive as heck, but I want to just really give an honorary shout out here to AGL. As soon as they heard DRG had fallen, it was as though they were motivated, they were aggressive, they felt confident. Yu had 6 eliminations on his own that game with 12 elims total for AGL, and this should really catapult them forward to a more secure placing for that top 12 spot.
As I was saying, Buriram is in a shaky spot back in 10th place. With that booyah and elimination points that they managed to get, definitely secures them the point rush slot. Meanwhile, for AGAL, despite not having that booyah, the points that they have collected in Nextera actually saves them from relegation. They still have that chance to proceed towards the next stage. As you can see, handshakes was given by the manager, the coach, praising them for a very good play in Nextera. And yep, we could see AGAL tomorrow.
And for now, guys, we're going to go for a quick break. After this, the final maps do not go anywhere.
I'ma get.
ตัวเดียวปิดแล้วปิดแล้วใจเย็นตัวเดียวทำคุณแล้วออกมายิงไว้รอเขาปิดหมดเลยมาซ้ายใจเย็นมันออกประตูทางที่เรามา
ปิดเลย
แฮกลองนะเพื่อนเน้นหน่อยเพื่อน3-1วัดไอ้ตัดมาไอ้มาดิฟังกูเหี้ยออกมาล้วเนี่ยไอ้เหี้ยแม่งฟรีเลย
มาได้บูยาคิวบูยา
It's time to welcome the Buriram fans back into the chat because Buriram is back, baby. I mean, I think they needed that booyah because there was a little bit of tension on the panel. We were looking at them, 10th place on the leaderboard. I mean, they weren't in a position where they were going to get easily knocked out, but if they bombed out here and they bombed out on Solara, then we'd probably have a really, really strange situation on the panel. But welcome back to the panel, folks. We've got to break down that game because Buriram's booyah, pretty important. But we've got to talk about the more important booyah, which is the teams at the bottom. Now, Gideon, Neptune, we were really having a really tight discussion on this because Dragons, right? Great rounds 1 to 3 today. Then 4, not so great. 5? I mean, not the best, you know? We've seen them definitely play better.
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely seen them play better here, but I mean, this is just one of the maps where sometimes you just flop. I think that's totally fine. They're still in a pretty good position.
But it's like the worst time to flop Gideon because they are in 13th place on the actual leaderboard and they kind of need those points if they're going to make it to the next.
Look, somebody had to do it, right? I was hoping that Buriram gets a game in. At least they did it now, so I can... now it's whatever. If Dragons do it, okay, sure.
Yeah, I guess for the first few maps, they are playing it with placement point. And I guess this is when they tried to go for elimination, but instead they get eliminated. So I'm sure by Solara, they will try their best to survive a little bit longer.
Yeah, so it's Dragons. We've got a conversation with Hotshots going as well because they are one of the few teams that could just go all the way back home. So, Hotshots, they're at risk. Dragons, at risk as well. Are there any other teams that are at risk on that leaderboard?
I think that with this second place finishing coming in from AGAL, that puts them in a more comfortable spot for sure.
Okay. It is safe to say they probably are guaranteed because I feel like they scored enough points to kind of push them over that line.
Here's the thing. That's when I'm starting to think that maybe Onyx, Virtus Pro could get some big game points and then turn things around. But I'm more worried about the teams who've got nothing to lose. Teams like VSE, for an example, who are kind of like, hey, they can technically drag one of the teams down if they just do a little bit of targeting and some caught drop in, might turn things around for them.
Yeah, it looks like they've been doing that for the past 2 or 3 games. Vision system, like it's quite surprising from the past, their first one going down, but now they are being part of the top 5 for each map. So this is what we've been looking for, not only from Vision system, but for the other teams as well, who didn't really get close to when we break the difference in terms of points for the top or for the bottom 6. So I don't know. They will be the ones denying those struggling or trying to get to the top 12.
Yeah, but keep in mind, we're also playing on Solara, a map that a lot of teams are not comfortable with. And I did take a peek at some of your stats because their numbers are really interesting. On average, technically this was the last round that Dragons played on Solara. We're going to focus on this team because they played so well at the beginning of the day and they're so close to making the threshold. They scored 8 points. So, is 8 points, do you think, would that be? Let's say they did 8 again. Is that enough to just scrape them by?
Is that enough, Neptune? I feel like if there's anything that we need to be worried about, it's coming into Solara are the previous Booyah achievers, right? Previously, we were starting to think about Vitality, but guess what? Now that they're not playing, the next that comes in line, Pain Gaming.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, one thing's for sure, there's a lot more that can be said by Pain Gaming.
Well, I just want to add something because we were talking about Hotshot and probably they are like in the bottom of the ranking, right? But I just want to remind that, I mean, Pain just did a Booyah, so they are kind of trying to, you know, they are going to do some shit talk at Pain Gaming, but Pain Gaming is doing really well today, and they could keep it. They are consistent, and they are showing to us like our Brazilian play style. So I don't know, maybe Hotshot, we can say that it's out of the competition, or we still can say that.
I mean, the bar is on the floor, honestly. Like, if we look at the leaderboard, the line, I can't even see it. Like, my shoe, it's under my shoe. Anybody could cross that line. So here is the leaderboard. Before we jump into our last game, folks, okay? The fight for that 12th spot, it is so tiny, so close. Someone could just breathe and they will qualify to the next stage.
Yeah, looking at the difference. I mean, Hotshot, you did mention, and I know like you still feel what they said about Pain, but I guess they are feeling Pain right now. Only 3 points remaining from Dragon Esports. Make that 4.
But Onyx could also come in and say, your dream is now mine.
Hey. If we're talking about Onyx here, we also got to keep Dragon Esports in the mix because let's say they get 30 points in the next upcoming game. That means if both Onyx as well as Dragons do well, there's a potential that Fluxo gets knocked out.
I just don't want to be part of this conversation. I will keep City here, or maybe, you know,
I'm looking
I don't want to be part of it.
You don't want to be part.
I'm not sure. I think Fluxo will pass through the knockout stage and will go to the point rush, because last year they did like exactly the same. They ended the knockout stage at, I think, 11 or the 12th position, maybe. But well, we need to see. We need to keep our eyes really open to it. But I don't think that's the. I mean, I'm not scared of it at all. Look at these boys. They look confident. You know, look at them.
They are looking confident. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. They are looking confident.
You know what I would do if I was Fluxo right now? I would be begging the teams at the top of the leaderboard to get all the points. Say, guys, don't give these simpletons points.
Hey.
4 of them. Falcons, you have one job.
Maybe they
Take
are.
all the points.
Maybe they are, but I'm cheering for them. Everything is gonna be fine at the end of the broadcast.
Yeah.
You guys, you can talk about me. You can talk about it with me later.
Well, let's see if there's going to be enough points to go around, because personally, I don't think so. But most importantly, game number 6, our final round of the day, is ready to kick off. We're flying over to Solara and wrapping things up today here at Free Fire at EWC 25. To my beautiful casters, take it away.
Solara, the last stand for many of these teams. Dragons Esports, Onyx, VSE, Virtus Pro. Oh no, it's gonna be real hard. Alpha 34, Red Hawks as well. And right now, all eyes are on Onyx here. 84 points. 3-point difference to Hotshot to be able to secure that final slot for tomorrow.
And to think what Neptune has said just now for Vision System SPA, Neptune said that they had nothing to lose, so they could try to pull a team down from the top 12. However, it looks like they had, I think just looking from the points, they have that chance to actually try to get to the top 12 place as well, because the difference between Team Vision and also Hotshot is just so little. Okay, again, this is the 6 teams right now. They are in the very low threshold of our point. It's Hotshot, Dragons, Onyx, Virtus Pro, and also Vision. Again, I would like to say Vision System and Hotshot, only 12 points difference. Very, very minuscule, very, very small. So if Vision again goes aggressive just like they did in the previous games today, we might see them instead in the top 12.
We have no clue what's going to be happening. I mean, AGAL was just, I think they were just usually, you know, in the middle of the scoreboard, not too aggressive, just taking their time. With DRG losing 1 point, I mean, yeah, this is a rough start for them. And you know they gotta hustle. They need to do something to be able to just really secure just 3 points away from Hotshot. And meanwhile, you have Vision with a nothing to lose attitude to be able to overcome so many different teams here. As VP opens up this game with Pain in trouble. Motovea also falls, but Peter rallies with Diamond also falling next. And now with VP, 3 players still very much alive here. They can go for a reset, try to find where exactly Peter's gonna be. He jumps forward, he takes up the way that space, and is looking really good. It's making it so hard for them to be able to bring back the teammate, and they finally do so. Peter waiting on the wings here, decides to reposition himself to another safer area, but finds nothing quite yet, so he's just gonna take his time.
Motovia has been revived from the knockdown. Fuwarak, who is trying his best to try to bring VP to win this fight against Pain. Finds Motovia right at the backside of the vent, as well as Gus on top. However, Exposy was traded off, and it looks like VP could still survive as Peter is left alone for Pain Gaming.
Shouldn't be too much of a problem for Peter to go for the reset. The recovery is good, but the biggest problem right now is to be able to exit this building, get to safety, cross the members of VP, and I think he might be able to do so because R7 is here, because this is good. This is the golden goose, the golden opportunity.
Not a good opportunity for Virtus Pro though. They need to survive. They need to prolong their survivability to get the placement, to get elimination. Crime MKS, who suddenly appeared out of nowhere, was caught by Joker. Diamond and Fuwarak. Tony Hawk's away with the sliding rails, away from Rainbow 7. That was so close for comfort here for Virtus Pro, and they managed to prolong their survivability in this game. Virtus Pro really needs the points as they are so close towards 12th place. Meanwhile, Onyx, same goal, same situation as Virtus Pro, really needs the point in order to proceed to the next stage.
Onyx has been pretty much unlucky today. They've just been so separated from one another. They weren't able to play as a unit. You have 2 players left alive, and they go for a 1-1 formation. They try to tag team off each other. They're not able to do so, but the same thing could be said about Lost right now because Drigby falls. You can see the aggression still very much there from RRQ. I have to say, they're hitting the ground running, and they're feeling really hot. They've taken teams left, right, and center here. And with their all eyes onto Lost, it's going to be interesting how they want to approach this game. Nando9 does bring back Rigby into this game. It's a matter of whether or not RRQ actually wants to push the issue.
All right, RRQ still on a stalemate here with Team Lost at Delta Isle. And Abai tries to actually slide in towards Team Lost. However, he was stopped in the middle of the way. They used the slide yet again, but this time around Lost actually retreated from Delta Isle. They might want to go towards Windmill. However, Windmill, there is another team there. We're now looking at Dragons. This is the MENA team currently with 84 points, shy of only 3 against Hotshot that is currently on 12th place. They really need to survive and gain points. Back to Delta Isle.
We want to see this engagement, and we're getting it right now as RRQ finally did push the issue, and they are just completely frying. But Lost rallies as well. But it's gonna be hard because General is down, and now RRQ looking to eliminate the final member here. Nando9 running away with his life. Lost 2 members left. Nando9 trying to steal away the attention for his teammates, but Nando9 cannot do more than that. And there it is, Lost knocked out fairly early. The first team to be eliminated. What a stark contrast here as RQ takes the fire and they are looking and feeling real good. Kiba, come on now.
Freestyling in front of Nando's box. RRQ finessed themselves by taking down the leaders of the overall knockout stage. However, for loss, it's 182 points for them. They definitely will go towards the next stage. Therefore, it's not a big loss, pun intended, that they have been eliminated on 12th place. Meanwhile, Rainbow 7 and AGAL is added. Joker takes down Chino, meanwhile Yu takes down Dea. That is two snipers taking down their own targets. Chinoy could still have space to be revived. Yep, he has come up back again. However, was traded with Baros. Baros is now no more. Game X pushing towards Yu. Does not have the capacity to fight against Yu. Right in front. SPD, James Cake, like, I don't care. I have an SMG, but my SPD is way better. Takes down Yu, and AGAL is in trouble. Meanwhile, RRQ, same boat as well.
We were just glazing RQ here, and now the team that's on fire is currently burning. Just struck between a rock and a hard place. Hard to move, where to go when you are not in a great position to reposition yourself. And Onyx looking to take full advantage of this situation. With Dudes hiding in a corner here, RQ can look to, to pick themselves back up here. But at the same time, he doesn't have a lot of space to work with. Barely any cover as well. He can bring his teammates back in, but he has to find a safer place to reconvene. Tries to put in a bit more pressure to other members of Onyx, but Onyx is just not allowing them this golden opportunity.
Yeah, what comes around goes around. Freestyling in front of Team Lost. Now RRQ, I believe, is almost. They have. They are now out of the picture as Dudes was finally hunted down by Team Morning Olympus. So RRQ 11th place. Now you can see that the circle now encompassing Funfair, Windmill and parts of Delta L as well. Such an open space in the middle. Awaiting there is Team's Dragons. Now we're looking at Falcons. Quite, I could say, quiet of them here in Solara. As said by Daniel, a lot of players are not comfortable playing at this map, so a safer strategy is implied here by Team Falcons, not to engage early, maybe awaiting for the zone to be updated just to find out where would they move.
Good call if you ask me. You don't get knocked out super early. You can get some information. In fact, build some space for your rotations here. Somehow Chicks managing a nice knock onto a member of Onyx there as well. I wouldn't say it's the best of situations. You are in the arsenal, but you have access to it. But the problem is getting out of it. You have two exits, yeah, but it's so wide out there in the open, and a lot of these players know how to abuse this micro angles, these off angles as well, which is just so devastating. But for now, I think our Onyx is just going to stay put here because it's right in the middle of the circle. You want to be able to survive for the time being there. Hold your position instead of trying to force yourself to go for these rotations out there in the open.
I could see the smile on Saifa's face when Paying Gaming passed through him. Now Saifa, as the ninja as he is,
second time this week, notice something's happened.
Yeah, he managed to get clear open the now, and that Saifa was found by Motovea. Alright, Saifa is in trouble, has to handle the four members of Team Ping Gaming. Oscar dash towards the back, but no, Motovea say no, I have the eyes of an eagle. So Saifa goes down, that is 3 points for Ping Gaming. And for the other members of AGAL, they are actually not around, and they are actually far apart. As Baros is in Archway, meanwhile Chino is right around TV Tower. And currently we are looking at the Red Hawks. Their hopes to go to the point rush stage has closed, as they do not have sufficient points to qualify to the next round. So all they need to do right now is just two things: have fun or drag someone down.
I mean, why not ruin some hopes and dreams here? They can get into that circle. It's not going to be the easiest rotation for them either. Gate kept by Buriram United out of all teams. You can try and rush forward here, but you know that players from Buriram United, they are very sharp, especially from just sharpshooting players out of the sky. Also, Falcons close by as well. This long-range area, they cross between them. It's going to be devastating. The crossfires coming in from both these teams. And I think that Red Hawks are kind of aware of this situation.
And AGAL with Barros alone managed to actually get back Chino, and Saifa Chino was actually found by Pain Gaming. The predicament between these two teams is yet to be resolved. However, Barros managed to actually save AGAL, and they are now back in our game. As for Dragons, this is a very important game for them. I believe for placement-wise, they might have the points to cut off Hotshot, but they really need more in order to avoid Team Vision, Team VP, even Team Onyx cutting them from the back. However, now we're looking at Red Hawks trying to engage towards Team Buriram United.
United, instead of just really fighting them head on, they decided to just proceed a little bit more further back to allow themselves to be able to play a tag team situation. You want to be able to just allow for these quick trades, disallow for isolated fights, and they're very patient when it comes to this. They're waiting at the windows. Instead, in case someone pushes out, they want to be in a situation where they're ready to just quickly knock someone down if they do decide to breach into their defenses here. And this question mark moments coming in from Red Hawks, where exactly is Buriram United? How close are they holding on here? And if we go in together, is there a situation where we're able to just trade off one another as well? We don't want to be walking into a moving meat grinder.
Alright, looks like VP lost one team member towards Team AGAL. The remainings are actually quite far outside of the zone. I'm not so sure whether or not Virtus Pro has the space and time to enter the safe zone right here. Same goes to Pain Gaming. As the circle is closing, they have to either ride a vehicle right here or swim to shore. If they have a jump pad, that would be the best option for them. But judging from how they are just sitting around scouting, oh yeah, there you go. I was about to say they don't have a jump pad, but they do. But oh no!
Oh no. This
Entering the mouth of Rainbow Seven, the food is being served on the platter. Games King tried to put towards Pain Gaming, however, it was blocked by AR takes down good. No, that was taken down by Turbo as well. Things are not looking good for Pain Gaming as the Latam keep one by one massacring them. Now it's left with Peter and Motovea, but Motovea has been knocked as well. Now Peter all alone, home alone right here for Pain Gaming. Peter has to work fast. Red Hawks, however, eliminated on time place. I believe was eliminated by Buriram, but Peter from Pain finally goes down. There goes Pain Gaming, but Rainbow 7. Oh no, what had happened? Suddenly they lost, giving points to the other team. Rainbow 7 at 8th place.
I have to say, a lot of teams had their eyes on that particular corner. It's rough. Even BSC is facing a lot of pressure right now from Onyx as well. It was rough because Pain Gaming came in first. Virtus Pro also out already. There's so many fights happening outside of our field of vision right now. And we can't really keep it up because everyone is upping the ante.
Look at the points. Dragon now has the same point. No, actually exceeded Hotshot. So Dragon managed to find the points to be on the point rush stage. However, we should see whether or not Onyx or Vision System managed to cut them off. Talking about Onyx, it looks like Kram is now no more taken down by Dragon themselves. So the Mena team right now standing very strong on the top 6 of Solala right here. Really needs to secure comfortable points against Onyx, against Vision, so that they will not be cut off from the back.
DRG is not over till it's over. We chase till we can chase. But Buriram United is another story here as Moshi falls. Falcons have been fairly quiet this entire game. They haven't moved at all for where they are holding for the time being. These long-range fights just so on brand for them to be able to just really disrupt all of these rotations. As Remind puts in the damage onto Onyx as well. Adam finally taken down by Anders, but it's not done quite yet because BSE, they want to chase. Adam knocked out finally here. Noki as well. And they're looking to take away any of these points. Triple kills taken away. A Remind putting in the pressure, putting the hurt and the pain. The pressure onto Onyx is incredible right now. It's only one person left standing as DRG sets their sights onto PSE.
BSC Vision System SPA right now under fire by Dragon. Dragons really need to take down that team. If not, there's a possibility for Vision to come to the top 12 with 90 points right now on Dragon. They really need to do work. Yase goes down. There's only 3 members left for the MENA team. Onyx gone! Onyx disappeared from the map! The hope for the MENA team is alive! But now it's up to Vision whether or not they will deny it. Dragon had to play outside the third as well. Sana goes down. The kills are coming in by Vision System. They are trying to hunt for that booyah. Slaybox goes down. Dragons taken down one by one. VSC 7 elimination. It's just so close, Dash.
VSC rallying. When Hope said no, they said nah. Let's change the trajectory of our fate. Wasana will be another one to fall. We are United falls to this team. But they're not done quite yet. Remind has 4 eliminations, a majority of kills from DRG themselves. Just jump shots, just a reposition here. Tries to turn around, he can steal away some elimination points to really put in the pain to the members of Falcons. And this crossfire from Vision is not making it easy, and Falcons decide to choose their fight. They choose to take a bit more space forward, ignoring where DRG are. And DRG with only 2 members left on the top side here, tries to rush forward. VSC aware, puts in the damage onto Remind. Their reposition's not enough to kill quite yet, and they are going to wait.
Both Dragons and Falcons are moving with the Dons, however, only 1 floor apart. Tipong takes up another. No! Falcon denies it from Dragon. Now it's up to VSC. Vision, will they manage to get the first booyah here? Trying to execute on Falcon. They are in, but Jota goes down. Falcon holding their ground, forcing Vision to try to go from their vicinity. Andre now on the bottom floor. Chicks and Maxi still trying to guard that second floor. Falcon gathering all in one spot right here. But Peter tries to execute towards Maxi on the balcony. But Maxi goes down. Falcon is now so close to gain that booyah. Pina goes towards first floor. Kiro goes down as well as Peter. It's gonna be 2v2. It's so close. But Andre, red color now. That's up to T. Chicks is the only person that could bring booyah from Vision System. Pina and Limit finally rest their legs for a while, trying to observe what Chicks is doing. But Pina goes towards the front of VSK in hand. Chick cannot hold it. It's a 2v1. Try to hold the line. Now, baby, because booyah for Falcons.
The Falcons still stand strong. They stand tall, very decisive in what they wanted to do. Position-wise was not the best for them. Sandwiched between 2 teams, and they made that quick decision. What are we gonna do? We take this fight against VSE, or we take this fight against DRG? And they chose DRG, knowing that they are the team that had the lesser amount of players. And they were very methodical. These quick takings, this decision-making is just key on why exactly they got that last booyah. But the same could be said about that team for VSE here. This is a situation where it was so close for them to be able to rise up to the top. But despite everything, despite being at the bottom of the barrel at one point today, they still rally, they still chase, and they said, even as the maps ended, it's not over till it's over.
Vision System almost yet again for the second time today almost secured that booyah, but they could not complete the game as smooth as they would. Falcons, this is their 3rd booyah, I believe, in EWC thus far, and it looks like our returning champions are showing the colors of green in the sky with the closing booyah on the last day of the knockout stage. Now, the most pinnacle, the most important information we would like to know. Will it be Vision System or Dragon Esports be at that 12th place?
This is where a lot of question marks come in, right? Because we have no clue what's going on right now. Because the amount of eliminations, if you think about it, with Vision System getting 10, it should just really, catapult themselves forward. Granted, they also got that 2nd place finish as well. But this map was very competitive. We start seeing fights from around the map. Yeah, a slower start, but when people said, let's go fight, they went all in and went on to fight. It was so hard to really pinpoint which team is actually going to be on the back foot. We thought that we already had a feeling or a good idea of who exactly would making it into the top 12. But I have to say, till the last game, we are still question marking what is going on.
Definitely true. Oh, a very intense moment here. And there you go. We got our tables right here. With 3 points different, Dragon Esports managed to qualify for the point rush. Vision system so close, but yet so far almost will never be there. 13th place for them. And with that said, Tash, please.
I am so shocked as Vision System. They were at the bottom of the ladder in the beginning of today. But somehow today, they had really rallied themselves, almost making it there. But as you said, almost is not enough because there are only 12 slots. Dragons basically just clawed their way in, pushing hot shots below them, which is such a heartbreaker if you ask me. A Group B, it must have been so hard for them today. Just not being able to play, not being able to do anything as the day 1 and day 2 had ended. They could only watch as other teams slowly clawed their way to the top and pushed them out of that leaderboard rankings. And for Team Falcons topping these leaderboards, they have come here not to play, but to defend their title. They are looking to say that there's a reason why Riyadh is their nest, and there's a reason why they are here to just really dominate. Lost, I think they had a phenomenal run as well, but a little bit too late compared to the rest of the teams.
Yeah, to conclude our day, ladies and gentlemen, we have our 12th team towards point rush stage. We have Team Falcons, Lost, EVOS, RRQ, Pain Gaming, Core Memory, Buriram United, Vitality, Movie Star 7, AGAL, Fluxo, and also Dragon Esports. There you go, we have our 12, and right after this, we are going to go with Carol on stage. So Carol, what's going on?
Wow, what a challenging and amazing knockout stage we had. And I'm happy to welcome here the top team of the day, the reigning champions, Team Falcons! Congratulations, guys, you have made it to the finals. But before we advance to the point rush stage, you still have one more duty to do, all right? Right now, you get the honors to crush the bottom 6 teams' keys and send them home. Are you guys happy to do that?
พร้อมหรือยังฮะที่จะบดขยี้กุญแจของทีมที่ตกรอบในวันนี้ครับพร้อมแล้วครับ We are ready to be the honor to do this one.
Amazing, amazing. The crowd is going crazy. I love that. Yes, guys. Amazing. So I'm gonna need your help right now because we have 4 steps here, right? First one, turn the key, open the switch, flick the switch, and finally press the button.
สเต็ปนะฮะก็ง่ายๆเลยนะครับคนแรกนะครับหมุนกุญแจครับคนที่2เปิดฝาครับคนที่3กดสัญญาณครับคนที่4กดปุ่มค้างไว้ครับผม
Okay, so let's start right now. It's time for the crusher. First play, please. Turn on the key.
หมุนกุญแจได้เลยครับ
Perfect. Second player, lift to open the switch. Third player. Flick the switch. Wait. Fourth player, you have the most important job right now. Because when you press this button, you're gonna crush those keys and end dreams here. Are you ready?
ก็คนสุดท้ายนะครับได้หน้าที่ที่สำคัญที่สุดเลยนะครับคือการกดปุ่มเพื่อบดขยี้กุญแจทั้ง6นะครับไม่ทราบว่าพร้อมหรือยังครับโอ้พร้อมสุดๆเลยครับ We are ready
So let's go press the button
ถ้าพร้อมแล้วก็กดเลยครับผมค้าง
You can go there. Oh, wait. That's okay. Press the button for me.
What?
There we go. Those keys now are all crush. Amazing, guys. Amazing. Congratulations. I will see you guys on the finals. Good luck. Enjoy your day because you have made to the finals.
ก็ขอแสดงความยินดีอีกรอบด้วยนะครับสำหรับวันนี้นะฮะก็เจอกันในรอบไฟนอลนะฮะขอให้คุณได้เป็นแชมป์ใน EWC 2025 ครับผม
Awesome. All right, guys, the group stage is officially over. And after 3 intense days, we now know the 12 teams that will advance to the grand finals. But before that, we have the point rush stage. From now on, every point counts, every move matters. And I'm back to you guys, my favorite host desk, my favorite analyst desk. See you tomorrow. Bye.
And we just witnessed the dreams of 6 teams vanish in the blink of an eye as they did not make the top 12. But at the same time, we also see the dreams continue for our top 12 teams as they will continue into the championship weekend. Welcome back to the panel, folks. We still have a lot to break down because this is just the beginning at EWC. We still have the championship weekend. This is just step 1, folks. But how are we feeling going into the championship weekend? Because we have our top 12 teams. Do we think it's going to be a repeat of last year? Is it maybe going to be a dark horse that claims the title? What do we think?
I personally think that it's not going to be a repeat because these teams have felt that sting of defeat of being so close and yet so far. But I think for everybody out there watching and looking at the overall rankings, that last match alone, DRG fans, Dragon fans are looking at it and just praying. They were praying that VSC did not get enough points and they were just short by 3.
I don't want to think that it's going to be like a repeat, but we can see Team Falcons as the first and Loz as the second. But I mean, Loz right now used to be the team that just ended EWC at the second spot. So maybe we can see some things like pretty similar, but I'm not really sure about it. I think we can see like Fluxo improving and Pain Gaming improving. We also can see Buridum improving because we always expect we always have high expectations from them, but it was really nice to see those teams playing, and I'm really happy with our top 12.
Yeah, I do agree. I mean, there's a lot of changes that might be happening in this overall rankings as well as comparing them from last year. So there's no bottom line just yet. Everything can change because we're going to hit the reset button for Point Rush as well as Grand Finals.
Exactly. So all of a sudden, with everyone back on even playing fields, I mean, it's going to be a bit of reinvigoration, maybe some motivation, maybe some surprises, but also a question of whether the curse is real, right? Because we did mention this coming into the broadcast that Free Fire Esports, we have a bit of a curse where whoever does well in the knockout stage, that team never gets the championship title. So coming into the championship weekend, is that curse going to continue? Because Falcons, they were last year's champion. And look where they are today.
I refuse to believe this. I refuse to believe the superstitions, the conspiracy theories. If it all happens all over again, then the earth is flat, vaccines don't do anything. Like, again, you throw it in the ballpark, our universe is in a globe, like everything. Where's the tinfoil hats? We need them right now.
Well, we'll have to see though. Probably they can do something that RRQ did at that point, like do some rituals from what we've seen earlier, just to make sure that the curse doesn't happen. But again, there's a lot of things that might change, a lot of things that might happen overall, because we've seen great improvement from those who were chasing on that top 12. Those who we expected to be in the top 12, unfortunately, didn't really make it.
Yeah. Well, it looks like our Kidia top plays are ready to go, folks. Let's have a look and see what were our top plays here for day 3 for Free Fire at EWC 25. I mean, gentlemen, I want to ask you actually, what was your favorite play today? Was there any particular game, any moment where you just thought, that's a game I want someone to watch?
Oh, this is a tough one. I hope they show it in the highlights. The one that we're seeing right now is unfortunately when VP getting wiped out because of the amount of thirds. But I think some of the best plays have honestly come out from the Tom side. Like, Lost has done some really good work, but I think even Pain Gaming as well really stepped up to the mantle, especially against some of the best teams in the world coming in from Southeast Asia.
One thing I would say though, it might not be the best, but it's nerve-wracking.
Oh, yes.
The final 2 teams, the potential clutch that Dragon Esports could have done
with the VSS, the double headshot.
Double headshot. And like if that went through, not only are we celebrating Dragon Esports getting to the top 12, but like them showing the biggest highlights for this year.
I completely agree. Because, well, in my opinion, we need to see that type of move coming from the teams that were in the bottom. So, well, it was really important, and I mean, I like to believe that it was, I mean, important for them too. So now they are inside of the top 12. So I mean, that's kind of good news.
She's just holding back. I can see how excited she is for 4 Brazilian teams coming in. Sorry, the LATAM region's team representatives coming in, especially in a tournament like this where there's so much money on the line.
Like excited or worried for one team specifically, because they were almost in there. It's a good thing like Fluxo managed to get in the top 12 and stay in the top 12.
No, but I need to believe that it was like a bad luck stuff or something like that, you know. I think Fluxo will improve, and I mean, I'm happy with the way that we finished our knockout stage.
Well, to clear out the knockout stage, we have an MVP. Now, before we reveal who's going to be our Sony MVP of the day, I want my panel to throw some guesses. Who do you feel was the highlight player?
Remind? I think that's a pretty good shout out here. I mean, you know, double headshot, pulled the team through, got a lot of picks on the most important teams, both VSC and as well as Onic in the very final game to eventually qualify. I think that's a pretty good shout.
For me, I think, I'm sorry, I might be taking it away from you, but General, like leading the team to get all those points, especially for today.
Yeah, he's really good. He's really, I mean, I don't know. He keeps all the confidence of the team like in a high level, you know. So he's a really important player. So I can agree with that.
All right, so let's see who is nominated as our Sony MVP of the night. It is Dew. So unfortunately, the panel was not correct, but look at Dew's stats. Look at the numbers. Oh my goodness. It's all over the place, but look, he carried his team on his shoulders.
Well, this is somewhat expected, but we just miss it because, well, AGAL coming from outside, from like on the bottom 6. And now, when they need it, they really perform. And each time they perform, it's because of this guy. It's because of Dew. And as we often say in in Southeast Asia, monkey see, monkey do.
Oh, I was ready to lose him. I'm not gonna lie. I was ready to switch out AGAL for VSC. That's just me though.
Wow. This man just so quick to swap out his teams. Oh boy. But then again though, because Dew got MVP here, I kind of wonder, is he going to be the MVP for his team this championship weekend? Going into Point Rush, you know? AGAL, they did not look that strong in the knockout stage, but because everything is going to be reset, no points, everyone is on the same level playing field, maybe AGAL turns out to be one of the top dogs after all, because it's not fun being an underdog sometimes.
That is true, but I think that snipers are taking over the current meta as of right now. They're such an integral part of how this team not only, how all teams are going to function, but gives you the confidence. Because how good does it feel going into a full Clash Squad fight, 4v4, immediately, boom, you see that knockdown happen. They force the glue walls, you throw that Riptide Rhythm, and you're like, this fight's already done for.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this time around, specifically this year, this is where snipers has been showing up, even from the regionals, even from the qualifiers to EWC. There's more highlights as well as MVPs coming from the snipers, and even from Dragon Esports. Their IGL, or like Remind, is the one leading the team, and he's also a sniper, and probably the reason as well why they were able to get to top 12.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me on the panel. We are going to still see you for the championship weekend. So, folks, you're going to see plenty of them and also plenty of me. But unfortunately, we are done here for the knockout stage. Thank you so much for tuning into the broadcast. If you missed any of the matches, definitely go back and watch the VODs. All the matches are well worth watching. But make sure you come back bright and early tomorrow, because we are ready to kick off the championship weekend. This is it for all of us here for the Free Fire broadcast. We'll see you tomorrow.
Picture impossible. Lenovo Legion.